My name is Speaker Matek. I'm from Lamosa. We are here today to make sure that all the communities, our villages, were being violated by the chiefs in their land. All the submissions that we made to the relevant department and also with the ARP to make sure that tomorrow we realize our victory. We are sure that the legal team who are here today, they are going to make it a reality for Lamosa constituency.
My name is Ntekseni Maboso. I'm from KwaZulu-Natal, ARP coordinator. I'm here today to show that the government is not on top. The government must be on track. I'm here for ARP and all other organizations to build a movement. A social movement. And I'm also here to show that I'm still on the struggle and to instruct the lawyers. This is our land.
Killing for playing Evitong, Petfontaine for Northwestern. But it's a bari for Petfontaine, by the way, because Babata Homana Matasarna Kankan. So the Wakalapore killing for today, you connect Fata tomorrow. We are going to hear the outcome. Yeah, the Bantustan bills that they are continuing to oppress us in rural areas with those Bantustan bills. Number two is they're still using the old acts of 1927 and 1952, the Native Land Acts, 1927 and 1952, in the era that we're living in today. And judiciary does not say anything about it. We want to know what are they saying about it, because they said we are in the new South Africa since 1994. So my question is, I want to know why are we still using those acts today? Thank you.
Abomama abanikeze umhlaba wokuthi benze ukudla baproduce ukudla. Ngizomela ukuthi abomama akungathi makushona ubaba ekhaya afike uchief athi wena njengomama awuna right yokuthi uone umhlaba. Amanda viva, je faço viva. I mean that. Dumela, bala le para tegi. Kimbe mamleko na abuan. Osa kama ngai faço na shauri, leso ke ngabala. Njeni size moro. Khale tseka. Hola ni jwalo ba nketse mafatshe a rona hona jwale ba haile difele ho ona ke thaka ya lefatshe le ba metlaetse ho lona mara ha ke tsebe ho dula ka hara lona ke batla lefatshe la heso hosane ba mmuso a re bua ba se ba mmutswella ha o no bona mmuso o le pelo tsa bona ka mabuho ao a eng kgale a re hlekefetsa ke qetile viva Amanda viva. I'm here today to make sure that the land it remains to the hands of people, not to the chiefs. Yes. Thank you.
So so if it's happening, you see, I know Rupumelana is reporting a lot around the traditional leadership, closing the gate of the farming fields. And when we talk about traditional leadership, we're not only talking about Amakosi. All right, if you are a CPA member or a CPA committee chairperson, because I need to go to Amakosi, but I have my CPA chairperson. But but the market of my CPA would have the power. Say what by again for my committee. So if you are a CPA that takes land as well, tell us about that CPA. All right, and then imperial violations and land deals. When we say imperial violations, it goes exactly with section 84 of the TKLA, because it doesn't say whether we should be consulted or not. You understand? So if you without your consultation and consent, so there is two things. You can be consulted. You must give consent as well. So I'm going to, let me see, from now up until 10:45. We will be talking about that. So if we want, I will miss it off, and then now when it's 10:45, don't get ready to meet me. All right. TKLA action or imperial violation. You can talk about anything of the 3 points. I'm not going to take it by order. All right. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. Or if you're not going, if you do kuluma, what's that? You can write it. Is it a big key? If you do take. Whatever batang ko tswaela ka di 23 ya copy. Come.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah. The speaker here is Victor Mimawali from Bakatabacafe. I'd like to say something with regard to elections of traditional council.
Any co-applicant, more casing, ya TKLA. Maybe can say portion, la litina di applicant are. Honali, the Devita, me Khoi, honali me Mashona, wetu, kutoka mosaidia Eastern Cape, Hobali Lamosa. La kuta. Okay.
Yeah, what I think, just a short background of what is happening now in a particular community. What is happening there is really a disaster in making. Being a disaster in making, it emanated from 1996. From 1996. It has been disaster in making from 1996. Now, it's still continuing. Why I'm saying this is because we are headed by a leader who is not even a leader by birth, who is not even close by birth. Now, if you are being headed by somebody who is not even close by birth, now you've got a problem there. And as a result, whoever is being appointed or being elected by community, on the basis that you have been elected by community to represent them within the framework of individual who is not even a leader by birth. So automatically you are eligible also. You are not illegally there. Because for being host, you have host is somebody who has been born within their lineage. Somebody who has been appointed within their lineage. So if someone be appointed someone who is not even within the lineage of kinship or traditional leadership, then I become host, then I've got my own council. Then one will say, is this council a legitimate council? The first question that we need to ask ourselves, is this a legitimate traditional council? Hence you have somebody who is not within the lineage, the chieftainship. So I'm not going to talk about more about that thing. You need to ask yourself about that and say, how can you have someone who is not causing and having a traditional council? So it means within our community, we are leaderless. We are leaderless. So the issue of appointing traditional council versus the illegitimate individual, for me, is something that is what I believe. But what I can say, what I can tell you, and what I can guarantee to everyone who's sitting here is that will never happen. Even if the court takes another route, but it will never happen in our area. As long as we don't have a leader who has been born as host, it's not going to be possible. Because that's the first question that we need to ask the Premier and the President. Say, how can we have a traditional council of somebody being picked up from the taxi rank and become host? And when you look at this lineage, it's not within the real lineage. So that's why I'm saying, in our area, there's a disaster. Very, very serious thing. It's very, very serious. So issue of being a traditional leader, it will never happen. That one I can guarantee you. Somewhere along other provinces it might take place, but in our area it will never happen. As long as I'm still alive, it will never happen. Thank you.
more than Tata, Kamakoshia Dunia, Kawakalani, Telephone Darena, Wamutia Pulegi, Telephone Darena, Silavato, Nikera, Unisaka Darena, from the one Mola Pulu Telephone Darena, what's the military? Young Tunali mashimo mobile batali barenda boko ko bashile mashimo konela lewa no wana uteni ten parexi leke arena ngaka ko ni sala arena konela nzego na riyopelaka diruwa janga dio jakai konela lewa kemor ko bana na matatao pero ko pela tujo di polemiche tsa rena re bone di buye morago ke kgomotsa re di kgona go phela gabotse le rena mo re nyaka go lema gona re kgona go lema re kgona go iphedisa gona ge e le mmereko ga e sa le gona ke a leboga.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Solomon Mabuza. I am from Umalana, Commerce Local Municipality. I'm here to talk about the violation of laws that is doing by the traditional leaders and the local municipalities. They take some resolution without any consulting the people, especially when they want to put the developments in the place, like mining, farming together with the commercial farmers. We are facing a very big problem in Khomazi. People of Khomazi claim the land in Komati Port, Hector in Malelane. The certificate of that land, the Rural Development and Land Reform, has issued the certificate in 1987. But up until today, people are not occupying that land that they claimed because of the traditional leadership. They said they are owning that land unconstitutionally. So the local municipality and the traditional leaders are the problem in our area. So ngiyacela kakhulu uma sila injongo yami yokufika la namhla is to make sure ukuthi ama-lawyers lesinawo asekela ilamusa ARD siyayiwina le case ye-stop bantu stand and nale issue ye-traditional court bill, because angeke sivume ukuthi ema-court noma i-justice ibe sekandeni ne-traditional leadership, because even now bathengisa umhlaba wethu ngaphandle kokuthi mhlawumbe basathile, and i-constitution ayihambisani nalokho. Uma ngikhuluma ngemithetho le bayiphulayo, kune-IPIRA, Interim Protection of Informal Land Rights Act, abayishonile. Kukhona i-South African Land Administration, is Act number 2 of 1995, abayishonile. The administration of land is not under the jurisdiction of traditional land. But they are forcing to settle down. I can make an example, something they imagine of a flat. Deed of allocated, deed of wetlands, bandu, billing a man, deed of 17, everything is going again. Because we allocated in the wetlands. So in short, today, putting the lights to make sure that our lawyers are going to protect the problems that I think you
my bullets are my name is Sipoja from Kingstown, Masha, from water location. I'm here to explain our matter concerning the chief. What happened to our local, to our rural area? The headman was from our village, happened to die. And thereafter, the leader or the truly leader or truly chief of the village, what happened there? His daughter, or not his daughter, his sister, was appointed or elected as a headman to our village. Unfortunately, the community opposed his election at first. But later, the community turned against that decision they have taken. When the decision was going to be communicated to the chiefs, it happened that the key of the community hall disappeared. All the people were waiting outside until they gave up. There was no trace of the key of the community hall. And that happened that all the communities gave up and didn't attempt to take up further steps. But me and other people who were against that thing, they can follow up of that. And we opposed the election of that leader of our village, who was from another village. And to that village, it is head and his brother, who is the original chief, the current chief. But their sister is here at home because my brother was born there in my village. they use that loop of a matter who was there from our village. Whereas I think it doesn't happen like that, because that the headman who passed away is supposed to be replaced by another person from our community, not from that village who have a chief. And also what happened there, the chief of that village happened to die, and also they appointed another chief to replace him from that village. So they have a chief and 2 traditional leaders. And as here in our village, we don't have anything. We have tried to make a protest to them. They didn't make a follow-up of it, they didn't attend to it. They wrote another letter to Khoi-San in a great place, and there was nothing that happened to us. We used to use this, that case of Tana, which was there. We used to use this as our case of protest, this Tana issue. They attached our complaint to this Tana issue. And they never listened to it. Even today, they have looked at it. He keeps working as a chief to us. Unfortunately, people like me, we don't want to attach to our issues. They reject our issues. And he goes without some other people. Fortunately for him, he has some big follower. There's some big people who are following him. That is our problem. We are reminded to say, I don't know what happened, or how can we get assistance. Fortunately, the operator of the ERP in the border region, and this channel was here. Yeah, he was here. We have reported our issue to her. I think we hope something will do something about this issue. And then we are going to consult her when we have some full blessing from our local people. I think that is what I can do. I want to address that issue because we are complaining, people are complaining, but some they don't want to voice it out. They don't want to voice it out, although they know that that chief is not from our village. Okay.
Ke dumedisa bohle ka mo mabong ka lebitso la Jesu. Ke Enefas Katani, ke dula ko tulong e ba reng ke Bodibo. Ke motho wa Setlhabelo yo a tlilego a sokodisa ke dindona. Ke le ka re ke dutse tšatši le lengwe ka le kwa ba ka kutšhimo ya lena ba sega ditene. Ge motho o sega ditene ga ra ba le problem ka sheba ka hwetša gore ke nnete ba gare ba bile ba šetše ba epile le toilet, ba bile šetše go na le diphata tse ba di dirileng mo kgoneng. Stene sa ka mo ebile šetše go na le motho beile mokhukhu se jampela ka mo tšhemong. Motho a ke tsebe ke tla ke ngaketseng ga ne be ke setse ke tsebana le Lamosa. Ka founa ka botsa Lamosa gore Lamola go na le taba ka mo. Šetše ba dira 1, 2, 3. Lamosa ya re magwala a tšhetšhele morago. Ka pele tše thata ko pele. Ba ra no fatela mokoti. Ka ya ka o fatela mokoti. Ndona ya ngwala lona. Ya le kisha go nna ba ke le 50 rand. Ya go patela diponisa le le tlisitse go ngwana. Ka founela Lamosa ka Lamosa ke a makala se le ngwana le tlile. Ba re fax. Wa dirwa ka ditsela ka moka ba Lamosa ba lopetša. Ba responda go nduna. Ge ba responda go nduna ya nna yo me tlhogo. A ya kwelela ya bušakisa le lengwe gape. Ge e tliša le lengwe ka ba botša ka Lamosa re tlogelela rena tlo dilana le bona. ke nyaka go encourage batho ka moka ba le more magwala a o yele morago o ka sa phomelele go le digwala ka baka la gore tse dingwe di no dira mo pele ga go mmago ke le maona e ka mo next door ba shetsa a sa rendile ka le mama a go se ga se tšea go na le about tšhimi ya gabe is 2.5 hectare ba shetse ba rile ka tšea kgato mma ke mokgekolo a tšea kgato a thuba ntšha dikota tsela ka moka di ba di beile mona se se šetseng go rena ba re ba ka ba lekgang ba bo lebelela dipuku tse re šomang ka tsone tša momphakateng ge re tlhokafeletse re bolao gore re bolokanang ka tsone ba nyaka mabitso a rena le a bana ba rena ba fitlha ba crusha off gore sa sa tlhela re patala mara still di mobe ba nagana re tlo ya re fitlha re kgotama ra re forward we go backward never ga ba shebe le dipuku tse tsa bona nna re tswela pele bjale ka ga go thoma gola a tšhitšhele morago ba pele tse tsa go pele ge re sena pele tse thata a ke ke mo feletsa se a re eme viva
ndilapha nje ndizele ukuba lo mthetho ungase ungaphumeleli kusasa ngenxa yoba simoshe kakhulu thina phaa kucedane lo uthethayo uphavi katshoyo ophuma kucedane ilali yekuthiwa unombanjana kwindawo ekuthiwa ke ngosixa ikhulutshwa kuthiwa yi-Witchcraft phaya ngosithethayo kwenziwa i-workshop ziinkosi zakucedana mandithi zonke i-Eastern Cape zenza i-workshop ngomhlaba wethu phaya e-Witchcraft ekuzovulwa kuyi-mining ngaphandle kwethu kulo nyaka upheleyo ukhansulu kwafika phaa ezosixelela uba kuzokwenziwa le nto wabizelwa endlini yinkosi uphuma kwakhe phaa endlini phaa komkhulu azange abeseza kuthi wathatha ngobheka esikolweni bafika kumntu kodwa bebethunye phaa babazosixelela uba imining izakwenziwa kuza kumntu ithatha nini yile nto ndithi
ndicela ningazi ngoba ixesha selihambe. It's 22, so I'm gonna just give Baba Kopi. Sorry, Baba Kopi.
yile nto ndicela ukuthi ingaske lo mthetho uthini ungavuleleki ngo-2019 sasizila apha nasile ukuzokhalela le nto unamagosa angawusayini sasigodola phaa kulaa nto yakhe utwetulaa ayipituli sasipha ubani usile kodwa kwivekezela wamsayina kubuhlungu abantu bakuthi ngaphaya kucedane sisemzibeni iinkosi zapha zonke zithengisa ngomhlaba wethu kule nto kuthiwa yolipoti amasimi ootata alinywa yipoti ethi ilimela thina kodwa ilimela yona ekugqibeleni thina sizonikwa nje imali othenga ibhrukhwe ngokrismas ngoDisemba. Ibuhlungu ke loo nto ngoba le nto ayenziwa ngabanye abantu yenziwa ngabantu bethu kuthi aba besibathengile unomhlaba wamasimi phaa owenziwe ifama yenkomo zokwiphoti ngaphandleni kwethu apha elalini ezithi iinkomo ngeni ngapha ezake ziyaphuma zizotyapha futhi ngenxa yomthetho wenkosi ezivumele loo nto zonke zanqandwa zaphantsi kwakhe kwalawo iphoti. Ke ingaske lo mthetho ngomso also amaphothwa awusebenze aphumelele ungabulili uye phambili.
Nango no. Andiyeke ngokuphaya ekuhlaleni. Phaya ekuhlaleni. I-TKLA in a negative impact. Njani? Inkosi, that is traditional leadership. Sign a agreement. No masipala and companies without the engagement yabantu. That is the consultation. And you can't avoid the consulting now because it's a consultant or masipala or consultant traditional customary. Call it engagement. They hear about it straight. That is a bottom-up approach. As a consultant, as I engage abantu. Ukhomo siki mining ba ukhiwa isand, ukhiwa namanzi. Ukhona lokho extractivism. That is extracting the minerals emhlabeni wabantu without engagement yabantu. There are a lot of evidence. Second, kukho amanzi sinedala elikhulu kwayilandini. Eli supplier nalali yethu plus nezinye ilali. Ngoku into eyenzekileyo kwakhiwe i-reservoir kwayilandini without uconsult abantu. Yakhiwa yankulu lo reservoir. Into eyenzekayo ngoku kukho iilali ezingenamanzi ezingena-taps. Apho kunqumla khona oopipe base amanzi kooma-Port Alfred. Indawo babe benqumla kwiilali ezingenamanzi. Abaphayiphi banqumla kwiilali ezingenamanzi. Mandibambe loo ndawo ndizama ukonga nje ixesha. Amandla!
Amanda. My name is Satani Ngomeni from Limpopo, Panagoro Municipality at Silwani Village. So I don't know which language I must use because you can't hear Tsonga. So I'll try to mix. Xhosa, Lesotho. Okay. Okay, I think whether the man come Gangeno Kain, Epanaboro, Casilwan, Renalo Tatamore, Mahosha Spain. I'm a farmer. So Hoshiarena, Icheru Muaruna. We don't have a farm right now. Haona more lima, they are so called. Honali 3 cooperatives. Ki grass or ki tarki mahali cluster farmers, ki primary cooperative, honali silver primary cooperative, honali grass ki secondary cooperative. So ki treasurer of grass, ki treasurer of silver primary cooperative, ki chairperson of mahali cluster. So the way I treat Tangawana, I'm heartbroken. I'm hurt inside. I don't know what can I say it. So, and in April last year, the headman, OIB Lenya, without our elections, Uila Amfonela, what are the IDs of the farmer? Kahana Gazzona, because Kinekiti were last, Babupile the fund go government, Kama in Ari, Baba Fachele, Baba Mutiba Foundation, Baba 90 million, Kama in Ari. So Kahana got the ID, Wafani ID, Karakasi ID. Pizza the farmer, who will let anyone know when only got IDs because ID got the run we can call it color to the shop home. So the Cascono for the ID. A pizza meeting, the headman, Ravalier, Aruba the IDs are on Arana Gaton. Raruba the Rangaton are Koshi in Rumi. Koshi Lumungis in Zamwisi. The 1 hour the late Hudson Zamwisi, the chief minister. So Rahana Gaton and Kasu because how say we will know Rudisha. So it's better we just Koshi in them. It all will allow Rudisha IDs are on. Ahana Vicha Koshi. I had the Famon Zarona, a Covatella Dicota, Raya Dilata. I have a Dilata. Lamu itri abita miti na ari. While in Latin got a record really cooperating one. Radagutata, ha re tsebe why o kotela dikota ko difamong tsa rona. So ha re dumellane le wena. It's better o bitse kgoši because ha le a re fa court order, ha le a re fa lengwalo, anything. Le re tlosa fela re tsamaye, ha re understand needs. So a bitsa excavator. Excavator sa pura dilo tsa rona. Re ne re plantile ditamati, green paper in dilo ka moka. Because re 28 ke individual, o mong le o mong na le polasi ya hae. So excavator sa pura dilo tsa rona, ra ya maphodiseng because re bone hore ha re ka lwa le bona, re tlo bolayana. It's better re ye maphodiseng. Ha re fihla maphodiseng, maphodisa mmitša a re why o thusa batho ba ko difamong tsa bona. A re ha ke tsebe, kgoši o nromile. Ba re bitša kgoši itle mo. A ba bitša kgoši, ha e tla, ba bitsitse meeting wa community, ba re ho community, go na le batho she. Ba re bona ha ba batle makgowa a leme. Lona ha le batle mmereko na. Ba re rona re batla ho sebetsa or re batla mmereko. A re ha re yeng re chase batho ko dipolaseng tsa bona. So batla le excavator hape sa pura dilo tse. Ha re batla ho bolela le kgosi o bua le kgosi. Go na le di-headmans tse di be di le 4. Ba re kgoši ha ona tshwanelo ya ho bolela le kgoši. Kgoši ha o bolele le yona. Wena o mamela fela tse kgoši e di bolelang. So ra first a bua le kgoši. For why it's something to say go family without court order or anything, you ever fang yona, or no understand. It's better but meeting, but we know or so for because 1, 2, 3. But how about fun next? Ritzamai le fela intelligent and resume the church of Rona, put the bush a plague in. Kiatema in a state land. So state land seller, khale chief u farmer wa rentisha, but huna li moruna, renere khona. And the cost stating land seller, huna li seller ne ridula hona, huna li mabita, huna li dilo tse ngata. Re kene wana skolo, re huletse wana, re na le PTO tsa di farm. Like farm yaka, ine le farm ya batswadi ba ka ba tlhokofetse kaofela. Ine le dry land. Come ha ba tlhokofetse bona, ka starta to take over kadira farm ya hore ke kgone ho planta dilo tse ke di senda di job di Victoria. So in any place re boletse mo yona re dula ho yona re na le PTO and ba bang ha bana tsona di PTO ha ba tsa di PTO ore go na le le kwa le le be ka le fosi ba re le bula bolver. So yena ke yena a re fang di PTO or a re fang di land if re batlo lema. So ha re tsebe why re kaula di makhuwa ile hore rona re batho ba bantsho go na le khoshare e bile le khoshona yeo ki yona e se mokgoši because ha dule le rona o dulang bua ke another village. So o busha ke kgoši ngwametwa ha dumele o tla mo re leng gona nna ke thoma mo tseba or ke first time ke mo tseba last year since ke le hona yena ke kgoši but ha tle batho o plana dilo a le mong all the times. So ke bothata bo re na le bona o ile ka May ke motlela bolela ko MLFM mongana lona FM a re una le 90 million ye motsibo a mo fileng gore a gone o thusa di farmers ibile this year 2023 we emetse 7.5 million go tswa go government. So ba mmotsisa di question go MLFM bare go na le di farmers tse nyane go o leng teng o busha teng. So o reng ka bona o ba thusa ka eng a re ke a thaba because musho wa ba thusa o ba fa defense di toilet di fertilizer the seedlings wa bafa ibile ke a thaba ka hore ba bona ha ya batho ba 2 3 4 or 10 ya batho ba gona ho phidisha metsi ya bona ha bolela hore ha ke tswa mo MLFM ke lo ba kuba. So ke ntwe re kutisang bohloko ha tswa ko radio a fitha a re kuba ha re fa next e re kutisa bohloko ha re tsebe ke tshwaile hore re e ka ile North West ba bang as an activist re try ho bolela ka hore maybe re ka kry di lawyer ba gona ho re thusa. Really last week or 4 weeks back, ile ra bitsa ke MEC a re unya go bolela le rona. A bolela le rona a ba founela mo councilor a re ba tshwantse ba re khutletse back go di farm tsa rona. But a re o tla yena a bolela le di chief le di councilor le di mayor ha se a fihle. So ke ntwe re tsenya ha re tsebe maybe re tla kry thuso o jwang ke ntwe re go thusa bohloko makgoshi a re tsenya. So guys, really good reason we had. But in this case, It's not a case of trying to shine out our government. It is a case which is a reaction to what is happening. So the last speaker really drained me and my energy. But I like the courage. That is, you see, you didn't mention any organization helping them. They are pushing back on their own. And this is what we want, guys. Because what we want is to make sure, even if tomorrow Khoi dies, there's no funding for ERP, for La Mosa, there's nothing. You guys must be able to push things for yourself. So let's put it the guy, that is power to run. He needs to be educated a bit. Because there's weak as well. They are slaying their money around and then trying to outshine our things. I think in what somebody told me, it is not a strategy. No, Abishiran, where are you? Advocate Shiran Shirinda, where are you? You have a lot of work in Limpopo. So he told me, it is not a strategy if it is written down and people know about it. Because they are going to make a plan to counter that strategy. You understand? So if I go and do a strategy like the way they do, they want to bring the booklet and say this is our strategy, and they give us money. We must stop doing that. We must know, Ukuti, we are fighting against power forces who also co-opted our very own comrades. Our very own comrades, they are co-opted by these powers. Why? Because of politics of the stomach. You understand? We talk to a very own comrade. Hey, yeah, we're gonna do this. Hey, we're gonna do this. Yeah, that is documented. They're very own comrade. The only thing that they value him in those corners, Sako Army, because they like Army. Hey. The only thing that they value him, you recently inform. He goes there and we are going to do this. And then that's why we will never win. Alright? So we need a strategy to target all these people. We need to come up with a position. How do we target these funders who are giving this traditional leaders 90 million to take them from us? Alright? But there is some of us, because of the politics of the stomach, will say, hey, we need 90 million. You could. You know, my very own comrades that I will never mention by name. Eh? We slept fighting for their land. Today they are embarrassed to put our logo in their thing. You understand? My very own comrades. So it is a problem and it is a challenge. It needs you as a person to have that agency. Guys are going to give a rent and then we're going to break for tea and then we continue.
Amanda!
Wait.
Amanda!
Wait.
Ngeke ngithule. Inkosi ithatha umhlaba wami ngeke ngithule. Thula! Ithi Nkosi thula. Uthi umongameli thulani. Anoke ngithule. Velerato nawe noche. Velerato nawe noche. Velerato nawe noche. Velerato nawe noche.
You always come into our communities saying that you're going to develop, giving us good infrastructures, the school, you're going to build the schools, you're going to build the clinics, but how promise in your or Fiona or the Sebisa in Vanagate or always there over Fasimona after that value. So Hates in Luna, the investors in the community has some kind of I'm buying from one of the community
Other than investors, but I need meetings and look for what I'm doing. I sum up all the questions and I will release you and the key.
That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question you are asking. Actually, we are looking for people. So tell us what education do you have?
No. Oh, mess.
nathi ukuthi so thina singumphakathi singabantu basifazane baya sithi labantu abahambe nale nkosi abasifuna is up to nonsense. No, 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 no.
Okay, I think we need to give a round of applause to our performance. You know, the thing with being alive, ideas just pop. Have you ever been in a meeting where you want to talk something important and people start howling you? Orange, but you would find that these people are also workers. You came there to discuss a land deal. Molo, mining, a game farm. All of a sudden, the huge voices saying, we want jobs. And if you see that the first time someone speaks up, what are you told? The community is violent, drop the mic. You've seen that before, ne? This is what we say go. When we say stop, the value stands. In case you were still confused, this is what we say must stop. Ne? No more should we be told when we speak, when we question, when we have a voice, we are violent, we are disruptive. Ne? Obviously, we want our people to work. I want to see every young black person working. It's my dream and my wish. But the kind of work we do, it's the question. We want safe work, meaningful work, good work that doesn't jeopardize us, the community, the natural resources. Again, yeah. So, we are going to continue with our program. Don't worry, the energy is still going. We are going to, before we go to the lawyer session, I think we've got about 30 minutes. At the same time, if our other lawyers haven't arrived, we will continue until next. Yeah. Then we go for lunch. Just before lunch, I'm going to request that we do an interview with the 4 applicants. Victor, Connie, Lamosa, and then I need help from Eastern Cape. You can tell me if it's not okay. But we'll talk offline. Ne?
just short interview clips. So we will all go to lunch when it's 1 o'clock. They will stay for a few minutes. I'm telling you publicly so that you don't say I'm discriminating. I am. Don't come in corners. I am discriminating. The rest of us, we will try to short clips, but also we've got the power of a phone. Make your own video. We've got a chat group. We will post it, guys. We will not take credit for your creativity and artistry. Okay? Perfect. Not forgetting issue Yagi booklet. I see some of us have taken. Let us please make sure we take booklets because our message should keep reaching people ekhaya. If uyofuna incwadi ifike apha kuwe elalini ilakithi banendlela ekuthi iyofika kini emakhaya. If you would like a box delivered in your area, LAC is going to assist that. So that's why I'm just making a few announcements so we don't get confused. Great. So kicking off to continue our session, I think the kicker of the Nema Ledu. Can I see some other hands? Anyone else who wants to come and share the struggles, challenges?
There was just a question.
So, I also have to take the question because here we are not the chief or the mining company or the investor. We listen when people talk to us.
I thought maybe before the lawyers would come, we were going to hear the updates on the tribal levies.
Thank you. It's a request. So, for tribal levies, who can give us an update? Okay, so one of the lawyers, when we talk about court cases, don't think we gave up our struggle to lawyers, we didn't. But if we win tribal levies, countrywide, it will have an impact. Ne? Solidarity is not saying it concerns me, I pay attention or I don't. When they cry next door, we listen. Ne? That's why we gathered from so many provinces and brought our partners who work on this or don't work on this to be with us. So we call and then I think it's Awana Mazwama. We to dedicate someone from community Bona. Thank you.
Amanda. Viva la Musa, viva. Viva. Viva Yardi, viva. Viva. Viva LRC, viva. Viva. Mata. You know, issue elephants is very emotional issue. All the time, we don't know where to start. Because all of us here think that we are here because of one thing. You need to be counted in. It's not an easy struggle at all. So I'm going to update the Yaruna policy over Tasha generally, in particular policy. I remember the way of Mandela when he said, Ona Mela Tava, Ona Nahori, the strike is over, we'll see another payment. That is where we are. By the time Neri told out to our court, we thought everything is going to be a smooth sailing. Not today. Our people are still suffering. Because we have come to a situation whereby if we now for court, when we go back home, I'm a host, a cancer, there's a struggle, social visa. Currently, where we are, we are at home with a cancer because they think they are the only people who can take this shit on their own without involving the entire country. They think that and the land is theirs, which is not true. We are the owners. We need to be consulted. And also on the issue that, we will be taking to court tomorrow, also, Yavan Power unlawfully currently on a story that I've heard, they are imposing themselves as the decision and the final arbiter in terms of what should be happening to our land. And unfortunately, they don't have the welfare of people at heart. You are not fighting this struggle because you want position. You are fighting on the basis that, whatever benefit, it only goes to them and only themselves and people within their circle, and it continues our misery as people. What is just, I don't want to talk about that. And also, the Kiri, what Cisco just said now, it's not about the lawyers. It's not about EFD, Rona, Raipane. Therefore, for instance, I think we consult. If I could tell you now, the my oral practicing constitutional court, this Tuesday needed that they wanted to go under. They wanted to expand the shaft with flood involving us. Then a lodge objection. Mother is my aunt. We lodged an objection. As I'm speaking to you right now, they withdrew that objection. They must come to us. We don't want procurement. We don't want procurement. Like as we yesterday, you are thinking that, no, I'm a shareholder. Your land is your equity. It gives you the same advantage like the person who brings capital in your land. It doesn't make you any smaller. From there, I think let's pursue the cause. You need to lead a legacy. It's not about you. You need to beat yourself as a person with your pain, your struggle. You don't get anything. Make a mark, leave a legacy.
Thank you. We wanted to, we're glad we can report about what's the help me out, please. Stay here. This is the chair of the committee of 26 of all the clans of Mr. Klein. So he walks like a king already, but he says he's not contested. So the issue of Mr. Klein and victory in my legal judgment. We had a very good meeting on Monday in Lisbon, and it's about the connection between the TKLA and the MPRDA, and on your program, land use. So it's not about the TKLA and lawyers. It is about land use that's going on under the MPRDA, depending on the TKLA. So in the Malayu judgment, the Constitutional Court said that it is illegal to evict the people of the Sekeng, the clans of the Sekeng, from the Volgespreid farm because there wasn't consent under the MPRDA and IPULA and customary law. So it is a victory for customary law. What does PPM do? Whilst they're still negotiating, supposedly, with a facilitator about Volgespreid, PPM and comes and applies for a mining right over the next door farm, which is Kruitfontein, Monaco, and Middleton, without going through the lessons that they've learned in Volgespreid. So ignore the lessons. Just talk to the traditional council or the administrator or notices. But the Sekeng decided to put a stop to it. And in collaboration with Monamakoteng and Lefogolwe has put in an objection for the same things to happen on the next door farm. So what we're saying is that this mining company and this BBK traditional council and the administrator doesn't learn from the lessons, besides Parohi Commission. Now, how does the TKLA and the MPRDA relate? Because that is not what we're going to discuss. It's not about the TKLA. It is about the dots. The TKLA has got illegitimate children, some of which have been born and some are already out, but some have not been signed by a stroke of a pen. The TKLA was signed by a stroke of a pen. Stroke of a pen by a president on the 1st of April 2 years ago. 21. And you brought a court case in December 2021. But the TKLA's illegitimate children is PCB, adopted by Parliament September last year. Its other illegitimate child is CLTB, where there's a meeting about it tomorrow, and on 27 November last year, the Minister Dedisa said it's ready for cabinet approval. So it is happening. Its other illegitimate child is the CPA Amendment Act, passed 3 years ago, but not yet signed with the stroke of a pen. What is the problem with these two illegitimate children? They all focus on the outer boundary approach. The outer boundary approach, without recognizing the rights of Mr. King, of Mama Lady, of the individuals, of the households. It focuses on the outer boundary of private land. So, you want to stop me? I want to say that these MPRDA is a direct link with the TKLA. Whether one has an administrator or whether one has a traditional council, they become illegal on the 30th of March.
Thank you very much, Nick. What are some of the key takeaways? Traditional councils are supposed to go to elections countrywide. Langwa, are they doing anything in the provinces? That's what is strange to us. So any deals that are happening and have been happening, who did they talk to? This is why we say we need to stop the boundary stand. I feel like it's 1913. You see what Lady said? Yeah? At the stroke of a pen, the majority of the population were cruelly robbed of their land, the source of their food, and the site of their families' homes for generations. Thousands were evicted and many died. It's how many years? More than 100 in 2023. And something so strange keeps happening to us. Deal signed, stroke of a pen, thumbprint, yeah? Land, plow fields, grazing camps, gone. Yeah? Us evicted. Just because we are black, do we need someone called a chief to be our father? No. To choose for us? No. Because we have a right to say no. And we have a right to choose what deals we say yes to. Ne? Okay, I think you need to go there. So I see Mema Sibati and then Sia. Okay, let's keep going.
Dumelang bagolo. Nna ke Masipati Mkhonto ke tswa ko Potchefstroom. Ka se sebaka gore ke lera ke re it could have been one of the big, most beautiful villages in the country. Mare because of the removals re refuseletsa bana ba bang. And then the other issue ya netefaletsa gore ga gona restitution ko nna ke tswang ko teng open funding ga e teng. You know, I go boela ko morago because I know most of you know my story. Since it was in 2021, because I was pressurizing government. Government, I'm so sorry to say it, you're making my whole. Government, that is why ba file magosi se ba file ba ba file sona gore magosi a feleletseng le magodu. Ka 2021, because I was pressurizing government land affairs gore a sign a transfer my property. It's a property because ke na le title deed ya yona. And Hassan Nakele one, like 35, 40, but like properties. The government one like you Wamahodu, and transparency to chief. As I say, give a reason who authorized. How many people authorized until such time you have a public protector, even it is oh, if I say I transferred to Khoi-San 2004. To date, the Vice Chancellor Khoi-San. How can I 2021? I was pushing. A department decided, all right, each motor can a resolution. Believe you me, not a lay person. Can I so on? Khosi le ha go sainiwa gore yona resolution e ya gore re ka krama fatsi go le fatsi can be transferred back to rightful owners from the CPA. Khosi a signa ile ha data about 2024 6 Bona ke o se ke ga motho ya tsa teng ke show wa go dropa phone ya ere ke na masa come to my risk bothata ke motho o dumetse a department e go the resolution e ke itse from department mara ha ba bona go khosusa ile 2024 and ha ke bua gore khosusa ile 2024 ke simolla ke nna le mathata go ke nna mo teng. Kiri government wa rona ke magodu o encourage magosi go tswa magodu ha o nthaolo go se mo banya tlo because how did the act ya 1927 ke gona le go simolola magosi ka gona ba bona go ba batla go tswetsa so gona se go se asirile re stopile mai o lo le teng go rona go portfolio ka 2030 Roscopa Marabai la Sabasira Mainu Simola la Boros for the second time. Kahoro stop for the second time. You know what he is doing? Hasa kola focus the tada ngomai. What's the masimo award? Why he receives a better talk. So imagine when I follow your great grandfather already. Here that's how I come to us. I reckon. What I don't believe for Halona, can I get causes? Can I never correct cause? In a solo man, I'm people like that. Who can get the one I beat? Eric, when you are killing my wife, Mahosi Arafama Tata, the government to our own book.
I'm just going to say that you see our level, come on. Kwilali yaseNgqushwa eDaba inlali yaseDaba eNgqushwa eEastern Cape. There's one thing I would like to share with the meeting. We are likely to go around in circles if we want to shoot all the birds in the sky. If you want to shoot all the birds in the sky, you may miss them all. But I am saying this fully confident that tomorrow's case is going to be won. Yes. We are going to win it. Yes. But having said that, how far will that take us? Where does winning tomorrow's case take us? It doesn't actually move us very far. If we were to look one case back, the case as a TKLA Reserve, you look at that TKLA Reserve case and look at what it has done to the community, that particular, those villages, what has happened there was seeing democratization of the institution of traditional leadership. And that's a huge lesson for all of us throughout the country. If we were to replicate that, we would never come back to this room and talk about this issue again. If we fought one battle and win a battle on the basis of a common principle which applies across all African tribes in South Africa, that inkosi ngabantu. Whether you say that in Sotho, Tswana, it applies across the board. But the law, we've allowed the law to stay with the issue of 40-50 balance in terms of representation. That traditional families must have 60% representation. If we were only to turn that upside down and have the community represented by 70-80% and traditional house by 20%, there's no need for us to come back here. All battles are fought on the ground. No more flying. Thank you.
So, Bills from Pumalang. There is one native fella on fast long team. Robona, Woodhall, and that Woodhall. Go, which has tennis is one. Six cents or bad by 4. But one that gas expensive, gas 10, say 1 by 4. We never come to the last year. Riela kwa la nya ka o bolela le dinduna ka ba ke South ya di tende ba di rekisela ba tswana ntle ba le ba rekisela mo o ne di tlhaka sona mo di go mo di sa di fela ona kwa o na le metsi go ka khwetsa ile gore ba bona le batho ba bang ga ba la distance yo mo tsona resistance di wa ba fo ba resistance di wa Rariveria is the grazing place. Rinyagale, Tele Mashimi or the Honorable Momo, either one rallies of Mantune or it into the Mogun Tunate, Rinyaka, if you're not Honorable. Rinyaka plenty of Honorable. While what's our Renariati in Dona. La moza really just oriented to show where you had to go when you take up one of was bad but something not level La moza was what worried out. La moza, it will be then. And they talk where they little bit say, no one ever never say La moza. As well, it's already La moza. Ite yeme watu wakinde kwa kwesi ndo sabor bachaba kuto boda da mosaga bada nagala kale manzo mongana kali ku ya hekte yale na tsewa sise kweli kama kana bachaba da mosa kama kwete lokulu bathu rabe at the meantime wona bathu abantwana badela yini bali di kusanza wona ditsema gae di shena bona di ja ba bele ya bona. Kamu bani, a gona lefelo le re di ka ba di sa ya gona gongwe go ikula a isa tseba gore e tshwanetse go ye kae gongwe go ikula ka shakeng ino ema ya o ino tlo ro bana ya ema motho mo no ema o no butse shaka mo no ema o le bana ka veri ya jo gome ba kitimisa go le go bela a isa tlo tshwanetse go ye kae dipodi di hula kae di hula di tlemilwe di tlengwa thapo mo then that ke wa di ritse ba di rita gore wa kotela something like a TV nyana so o go tla mo tleng bo no kula ona mo o mo kula kgomo mo kula mo no wala ka re o je go ya o sana bja ona mo ke ka mo pulo e leng ka ona kwa ba tsia di teng tse di kholo ba di rila batho ba di tshafela re isitse mangwalo ona go ro bolela mo re sa di komplena gore gape ntong kutu a re nya ka gore le create ka mo ga botse go tswana le promoter ba tla go re go utswa bana ba nyane ba tla gona go utswa ka ba ilo ka kwa di sala tse ka fela re thoma di fela mo di bela next door le di khausu wa thuwa mo wa thoma utswa se se go le isa na fona re ka nya ke go tse di bona ka kwa Mpumalanga ka kwa tse di bona ka ona kwa Mpumalanga ka kwa tse leng gore ga di fele letsatsi ka letsatsi go tsoga botlhona jo bongwe go tswala kae go tswala gona mo nageng e rileng go yona nageng ya Mpumalanga kwa ya ke tsona tse e leng gore re sokola ka tsona ka kwa bandona ba ntshenya ntona o tla botsa wena o botsa gore nna gape nna gona mo le ka disa gona nna ke ntona e re botsa gape ntona ba e tswalele re ka nna go ntshana nyaka e nngwe ntona ra ilokela ra e nngwe ntona e kgetela ntona re no kgeta a e tswalele ya re la rula tseba nna re na le ba re botsa ga manyatso re ya nyatsa till now o sa emile tsona taba tsa rena ka ona kwa ne re ka re tshwarele three ba re nna re nyaka ba khotho ya bona ka kwa setlhatsi tribal authority ya ke sa mputo ke be ke kgopela ka matla gore a ke tsebe gore na go ne ba re tse di fetse manduneng le magosi a re come it must come to a total halt.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So happy to see you all and be here. Finally, my name is Vilmi. I'm from the Legal Resources Center. I'm one of the attorneys that worked on this case. And you all know Shami, he'll introduce himself. I just want to say, Sepo asked us to quickly speak about the tribal levies case, in particular because we finally got a court date, which is on the 23rd of May. So finally the case about these tribal taxes will be in court on the 23rd of May. And I'm actually going to ask Shirami to talk about the importance of the case. That's okay, right? Yeah, okay.
Okay, my name is Shirami Sherinda. I'm from Limpopo. I worked with the team for some time. With the tribal levies, we were doing the case to care. I'm hearing about the court date. People are traveling near the applicants. I was avoiding their courts because I didn't know where the case is. It's tough. And many of our applicants have passed on. Like, we were just using their name like Mushawa, it's no more. And others, yes. So that's the bad part. So the tribal levy case is very important. We've used the Limpopo, some of the Limpopo people to be applicants. It's important because traditional leaders are saying it's a custom of South Africa to have tribal levies, of which when we do research and everything, we found that it was imposed by apartheid government from colonial time that people have to pay. I mean, we have our own way of paying tribute to our leaders. So they've distorted that and put the money issue. It's important because in our area, if you didn't pay the tribal levy, you can't bury your person, you can't get proof of residence, you can't get any development which is coming via the traditional leaders. So we are saying traditional levies, it's illegal. I'm saying it's legal because even the act now, it's saying in all the provinces, they are not talking about tribal levies. It's only the Pope, which has got a section which is saying if there are tribal levies to be paid, it has to be gazetted. So in the Pope, we don't have even a single gazette. And all traditional offices, they are charging tribal levies. So it's important that we should not allow these tribal levies to be charged to our people. That's a few I can say.
Thank you, Shirami. And just to say exactly as Shirami has explained now, we know that these tribal levies travel. Sorry, I didn't speak to them. These tribal levies, they are being charged and paid in all the provinces, not only in Limpopo. The reason the case was brought in Limpopo is, as Shirami has explained, is because the act actually in Limpopo made it legal. And so that means it was much easier to challenge it in that province and get the order there so that it applies everywhere. And I mean, to say one of the reasons it's been such a struggle is the Limpopo High Court is not the most efficient. I mean, obviously COVID was a big thing, but they lost the court file. It had to be reconstructed. I mean, lots of things happened, but finally. I think maybe I'm going to ask everyone to just confirm who they are, saying that. Starting.
Hi, Johan Lorenzen with Richard's Warrior Trainings. Thanks so much for gathering today and for all the work you're doing across the country.
Smith and Associates, working as a candidate at Germany.
I'm being split, I must bow to your wisest commands.
Okay, and I'm from the Legal Resources Center. So that was one part of the team. So I think I should explain how a little bit how this case happened, because so many people worked on it, because it was so much work. And so I want to acknowledge we were the attorneys, so there was some of the work that was ours. Then we had this incredible team from LARC that you all know, Gianni, Aisha, Monica, principally working on this, who did an extraordinary amount of research. And then, of course, the only reason this case is happening is because of the ARD, La Mosa, and people with the bravery in this room. And so those are three of the components of this case, and then tomorrow you will see the fourth component, which is the advocates who will be arguing in court. So lots of people made this happen, and want to thank all of them. And I want to say, We do lots of cases. This one's really hard. So it was really, I really just want to give a nod again to my colleagues at large in this team, because it was many hours. And so, yeah,
Ngiyangizwa abantu bakithi. Sibonge-ke ubaba uMnyando osizele nokukhanya. Yebo. Bengisasho-ke ukuthi uPhuze Khemisi is one of our key national treasures. He is a living monument and a testament of the power of art and storytelling in narrating and documenting our histories, as well as in actively galvanizing against social injustices. The music of Ubaba Phuze Khemisi is a mirror that reflects the state of our world to us, and it urges us to reflect and to take action. It can also be a form of danger to those who perpetuate injustices and a source of courage for the fearful. Angeke ngiubale umculo wakhe usuwonke kanye nezixoxo zakhona. Kungafana nokubala isihlabathi olwandle bakuPhuze Khemisi. Amagolide nje esephelele awu-22 singakabala ama-album esewonke kanye nama-single akhona amaningi ashise inkotha. Ubaba uPhuze Khemisi is with us this afternoon because his music, message, and courage is more relevant and needed now even more than when he began to reflect social injustices. The residue of work started by colonialists that settled in this region in 1652 has rendered ours the most unequal of all societies globally. We are a scarred and traumatized nation that eats its young or feeds its nyaube. We are a nation that, despite waging years of struggle against state-sponsored land theft and deprivation, have, at the moment of freedom, refused to undo the injustices of Bantustans, or to reimagine traditional leadership. It seems the Traditional and Khoi-San Leadership Act is one amongst these neo-colonial constructs of the post-1994 experience. Ngakho-ke size lana ngomlindelo, or a vigil for tomorrow's challenge to this legislation. To locate the challenge to the TKLA in context, Ubabu Khemisi is joined in this panel discussion by Mrs. Constanzi on my right, kanye kanye Mrs. Sunontle Mbuthuma on my further right. Izimbokodo-ke lezi zomzabalazo wezomhlaba ezihlonishwa kakhulu kuzo lonke ngomsebenzi wazo. Mrs. Constanzi is a self-sacrificing activist whose commitment to rural struggles deserves emulation. She is the national coordinator of the Alliance for Rural Democracy, known as the ARD, and it's a network of land rights and social justice organizations in Mzansi wonke. Khoi is currently doing her master's with the program for land and agrarian studies, AUWC. Asimshayeleni ihlombe. Makubalwa-ke ukuthi obani laba bafaka le challenge eConcord, uyena obalwa kuqala kuthiwa applicant number 1 uyena lo uConstance Mohale. Uhamba naye-ke uSisunontle Mbuthuma ongadingi yena uku-introducewa kakhulu, sonke siyamazi uSisunontle Mbuthuma ehlele simbona ku-TV evika ibhamu namabhulethi lapha e-World Coast. A courageous warrior woman and human rights defender. Unontle has braved the violence of unaccountable and corrupt government officials, threats of death, and the power of multinational psychopathy and greed. Mrs. Nontle is also the current spokesperson ye-Amadiba Crisis Committee, futhi uyi-tourist guide. Siyanamukela Sis Nontle, siyanamukela nawe Sis Constanzi, nihamba nobaba uphuza ekhemisi. Sizongena-ke kulo mcimbi we-panel discussion. Ngizoqala ngawe Khoi esandleni sami sokuqala ukuze usichazele kahle ukuthi senzani la. The President signed this Traditional and Khoi-San Leadership Act into law in 2019 with the aim mainly to recognize and regulate traditional leadership structures in the country, while also providing the necessary and long overdue recognition of Khoi and San communities. There are many of those who see this as an important stride, but I think we can agree that it is. However, there are many amongst civil society in particular and communities who live in these lands who have criticized this law for various reasons, including its reinforcement of the apartheid boundaries that were established to marginalize the majority of South Africans into self-governing, yet highly surveilled chiefdoms. Within these apartheid boundaries, a traditional court system is afforded superpowers over the access, distribution, and use of communal land. This means that a traditional court can enter into partnerships or agreements with a third party without the need for consent from people who will be directly affected. Awusichazeleke Sis Khoi ukuthi njenge-applicant yokuqala in this case, why is it so important to you for this challenge to happen, and what has been this journey that has led us here? I think it's very important to lay the ground in the context ukuze sazi nabangazi emakhaya abasilandelayo ukuthi how did we get here and why is it so important for us to be here.
Amandla. Amandla. Thank you very much for this recognition and for, you know, I'm becoming overwhelmed for really listening to me today and all of you. And I just want to state up front that although I'm the first applicant, Mohale and others versus the National Council of Provinces, it is not because I'm a hero amongst you, because this is a struggle for the whole country, the former homelands, but also the work that happened to oppose this started a long time before us. You will see the quotes around the room from Sol Plaatje, from Gavin Mbeki, from Nelson Mandela himself, from Steve Biko. So it is the struggle that started a long time ago. It is just taking the baton from the ones that have passed, and also probably bridging the baton to the ones that will still come. And the reason I was the first applicant was because when we were launching this, so 2019, when this was signed, it was already COVID. We couldn't reach so many people. And because LAMOSA already led the Restitution of Land Rights Amendment Act in court, we have LAMOSA 1, LAMOSA 2, and Kolobeni has already led the other judgment we call Baleni judgment, and Mama Ledu Bakhatla already led so many other judgments. We didn't know, we ran out of steam. Who is the first applicant? And because I think I need to share this platform and acknowledge Tiani, Duda, and the LAC team for Osindiso Usnomboniso, who was the face of this campaign. And Mema Sizani Ngubani, may his soul rest in peace, and many others who passed, who started the Alliance for Rural Democracy and this campaign against the Bantustan. And maybe in their absence, acknowledge those very few team of people who were sitting in the garden conceptualizing the Bantustan campaign. In the Marinshia or Natalia Dinat. I think I need to acknowledge them so that I justify the fact that I am not a hero alone in the struggle. Many of you went to the public hearings, risking lives with taxis that are not insured on the road, but you showed up and you made your voice heard at the public hearings. From 2015 up until the 2019, when this bill was signed. So this bill was introduced in 2015. And when it was first introduced, we already had a campaign, an awareness raising campaign around it. We had a national meeting in 2017 with the Alliance for Rural Democracy Partners, Land and Accountability Research Center. Remember, we didn't have an office. We were like a self-coordinated alliance, but there was somebody who was holding this thing together. Both Mesindi Somnisi, I acknowledge you, both Noboniso, both Nolundi. They always called us, and really we met in Parliament from different spheres of life. We had Bontate Mabuza, Bontate Mazibuko Jaha, Shirami Shirinda, Nomone Belekani. So many, we just met there, and then we saw other organizations who were also in solidarity with us making submission, and that is how this alliance was formed. So in 2015, we grouped together and we made teams. It was LAC, LRC, the Alliance for Rural Democracy with Bola Mosa, Mkuzi, forgive me if I forget who else was there, Ndiga Tabakadoda, the Eastern Cape, Kaluza, and also individuals like Siabu Manona. And we grouped and said, so there was a calendar of events around where is the public hearing going to happen. Some of the provinces, it was like happening the same day. And maybe I should acknowledge the role of Vasco Mabunda, he's late now, may his soul rest in peace. So we clapped, we said, okay, from this province, who's gonna go? And we were well organized. But we didn't have a constituency in Northern Cape, where the Khoi-San Nation are, and in the Free State. But through our other alliances, the mining affected communities, benchmarks, we could reach those provinces. And the former National Land Committee affiliates, ANCRA, we could reach the Boski, Nametz, they are not here. We made sure that we go, we had pre-hearings, we go tell people about the contents of this bill, the good things about it, which was recognition of Khoi-Sans, and the fact that well, the only thing good about it, maybe you can correct me, was the recognition of Khoi-Sans. But if we look at this bill, it was not about recognition of Khoi-San. In fact, it was discriminating Khoi-Sans. So we started making an awareness raising. With the help of LRC, we did the bullet point fact sheets, and we were able to talk from one page and wherever we are. So we went, and the first hearings was in Kuruman. Is it Kuruman? Kimberley. It was Kimberley. The first day they didn't arrive, these guys. And people were full to capacity. And remember, there was no assistance in terms of transport. This bill was not also translated. Many people who were there were ANC constituency officers and the public works program, orange suits guys. And many people didn't know what is the agenda of the meeting. So at that time, I think I was with Tiani, Nolundi, it was a cohort of people who were deployed to that area. We started talking to people about this bill. So we saw it as an opportunity to raise awareness about this. And we got a long slot from radio trading and other radios, so we could educate people. So the second day, the hearings was there. There was no translator. And they wanted people to volunteer to translate. So they still exploiting labor, the very same way, because translation is a service provided and has to be paid for. And we said to people, what we should be doing this. Parliament knew that they're coming into a Zwala, Khoi-San, Nama area. They need to have, so they were not prepared. But that is where the ball started rolling. We followed them to almost everywhere. Even when they debated it and giving reports to Parliament, we were always there. I remember Masango, the former, is it Masango? I'm not good at remembering names. The former mayor of Johannesburg saying, why was saying, why are you following us everywhere? You are following us. And I said, where you go, I'll follow you. So I told him, this is a free South Africa. You can go anywhere. You understand? And they said, why don't you make your own workshop? Because this is a parliament thing. I said, but this is public money. This is a public participation, public hearings, so we go there. And really, I need to acknowledge the comrades who are in this room and those who are not in this room, who plucked up courage to stand up at the hearings and tell them not emotionally sweeping statements, but talk to the contents of this bill. Even though now we are going to come tomorrow around procedural argument and not substantial argument, but we know that what is substantially flawed about this bill. When we knew that now it is like punching time, these people are not listening to us, we marched firstly in 2018 to Cape Town. In September 2018 to Cape Town, we handed over the memorandum. There was no response around the memorandum. Even people who are auditing the memorandum are not even people who are empowered to make decisions around this bill. Then we went to another camp in the Union Building. It was in the middle of winter. We didn't have a budget. But you know, our people have the agency. They said, you know what, we don't want t-shirts. We don't want, cut the cost, we don't want the hotel. We'll sleep in the grass, get a camping site. We don't want so many things. And we went there. And you know that kind of mobilization, that is not enjoying the limelight. But that is what we did. And you know what, I thank those who didn't see the value in this. Or I thank those people who, because if you fund something sometimes, it's like you taking the agency from the people, because it's like a rented crowd. So people who show up with their own, at their own risk, it shows that these people are affected. They are not rented crowd. They are people who are affected. They are even prepared to go miles to defend their land rights. So I'm sorry, Chairperson, I can go on and on about this journey because I was there and present, and I think that is why the collective agreed that, you know what, because we don't have time to travel and find the first applicant, you will be the first applicant. And I just want to acknowledge other people who was deserving to be in the document and the literature because of the kind of land rights they stand to lose around this. So I just want to stop there and not preempt going further because there will be other speakers coming after me. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Connie. It was worthwhile for you to take the time you took to lay the context as important as it is. Baba, uphuze chemist. Ngicela ukuza kuwena manje. Mlimandleni. Baba, wena nomzabalazo kade uhamba ngomculo wakho. Ukhala uthi yini silokhu njalo sibizwa embizweni kuthiwa sikhokha intela njalo enduneni ngisho nodla yedwa kumele simkhokhele intela naye. Awu kwenze njani? So manje baba Mnyandu, lo mthetho lo uthi ngoba zonke lezi inqumo zithathwa la enkantolo yesintu. Lo mthetho lo ekiwela kuona enkantolo kusasa uthi abantu abahlala emakhaya ngaphansi kwamakhosi kumele amakhosi kube yibona abadecide umthetho wakhona futhi abantu abanayo imvume yokuthi bona bafake uvo lwabo. Njengoba usiholile ngomculo ukhala ngale mthetho ecindezela abantu, mhlambe ungasifahlazela baba ukuthi kubaluleke kangakanani umculo ekulweni nokuzabalazela amalungelo abantu, umculo ubaluleke kangakanani, uyishintsha kanjani impilo zabantu? Asibeke kuwena baba.
Nkosazana ngiyabonga. Engingakusho kudala ubuholi bomdabu baqala ukudlala ngabantu abasemakhaya. Engingakusho ngathi lo mthetho urongo ngoba nathi lapha basitshelile lapha ngakuthina eNatal ukuthi nasemakhaya sesokhokha amarent. Angazi-ke ukuzobe bazowuthutha nododi lo wenziwa emalokishini nasemadrobheni. Kodwa asikuboni ukuthi ku-right lokho ngoba mina nje okokuqala ngaze ngashisela umuzi mina ngokucula lezi ngoma lezi ezikhuluma ngamakhosi. Ngabona umuzi wami usuvutha ushiswa abantu abajika futhi babona ukuthi ngikhulumela bona ngisiza bona banga kumina. Thina esikwaziyo la ngazi ukuthi okhokho bami nokhulu bami mabeshiye indawo kubaba wami ubaba useshiyela thina njengengane. Ngiyaxolisa ngingafake ilanguage yesingisi ngikhuluma izinto eziqinile sephoto likosisi. Amakhosi kufuneka ahloniphe isizwe asiholayo nobuholi bomdabu buhloniphe ngoba lento izosusa udlame kuzoliwa futhi njengoba kwakube inkatha ne-ANC kulwa mabhunu nabantu abamnyama nabantu ababezabalaza ngoba angikhumbule endaweni yakithi ngizokhontrola omunye umuntu. Thina sikwaziyo lapha amakhosi angakithi ayasihlonipha ukuthi no le ndawo uma uyisebenzise singayenza lento ethile makithi no ningayenzi lento msazokwenza into ethile la abakwazi ukwenza lokho asazi ke lawo makhosi azovele afoster abantu ukuthi abenze intando yawo ngenkani ngoba lokho kusho ukuthi iphuze chemistry abuse leyo yabona manje mangabe uzokuthatha umhlaba kababa ngokuthi wenkosi angiboni kuzoba right lokho ngoba phela sihleli endaweni zokhokho bethu obabomkhulu abazali okhokho bethu yebo angithi nje sisi nje mina ngihambisani nabo kodwa ngibona ngathi kusazosuka umsindo ubuholi bomdabu nesizwe esakhe ngaphansi kobuholi bomdabu.
I know siyakuzwa baba uphuze khemisi uthi usulihambile igaba lakho waliqeda ngathi sekumele uqale phansi manje ngoba njengoba usho ukuthi indlela isayinde lemithetho esithi kade sayilwa sayithola inkululeko ngathi iyabuya futhi manje so iqiniso
lelo sisi engakusho nje ngathi kukhona abathile esinabo lapha ebuholini bomdabu abafuna ukuyibhebhezela ngoba abantu bebedla ngezimbizo lezi behamba beqoqa abantu la bebakhokhisa imali o5 leyo mali bingena receipt leyo mali ukuthi ukhokha for what izinto zami ngikhokha mina ngikhokhela rent kodwa nje angaze ngibone receipt angaze ngibone lutho imayivalwe manje leyo nto yaphela
awusitshele baba udla yedwa sakhona
hawu wafata sekhona ezinye manje nkosazana
siyabonga baba uMnyandu sisinandla kuba uphuze khemisi mengabe ekhuluma ngokushiselwa umuzi elandelwa ngezibhamu ngoba okunye angakubalanga ukuthi azasuke nje kwaDumisa ayohlala esilungwini babemlandela ngezibhamu bemsusa endaweni yakhe ikakhulukazi emva kokukhipha le album amakhansela eyabanga umsindo kakhulu ngobani ngoba eqwayisa abantu ngamalungelo abo nokubheda kwabaphathi wena ke sisinodla nawe uyakwazi lokuhlupheka eMadiba crisis committee usulahlekelwe ama-comrade akho impilo yakho nawe iphile engcupheleni kodwa lo mzabalazo uyawuhamba futhi ngicela wena usibekeleke ukuthi emva konke ukuhlukumezeka yini kubaluleke kangaka ukuthi lemthetho si-challenge enkantolo mina njengama-Madiba crisis committee senihambe kakhulu enkantolo naba futhi nama-victory amaningi enkantolo nilwa nohulumeni ocorrupt nilwa namakhosi acorrupt nilwa nalento i-multinational capitalism inalento abathi psychopathy abanganandaba nempilo yomuntu kodwa nabo ningenawo amandla angaphezu kwabo kodwa nalwa nabo ngokubumbana awusichazele sisi ukuthi njengoba sahamba nje kusasa yini ekubalekile ngayo ukuthi le case ibe phambili kweConcord.
Excuse, I have a little bit of flu. Yeah, first of all, thank you so much. Chances like this are few and are rare, especially if you becoming a target of the state, your own state, because your own state is defending the multinational corporations. Yeah, to go to your question, eMadiba, eXholobeni, we are fighting for the land, for our ancestral land. And after 1994, we're just hoping that the fight is over, because our ancestors also, they were fighting the same fight that we are fighting today. It's a pity. We call it what we have, it's a democracy. But it's a democracy for few, not for all. Ekolobeni, there is so many mega projects that have been imposed in our ancestral land without our own consent. The government that is the current government that is operating right now, they don't believe in what's so-called democracy. They don't believe also to the people. I say that repeatedly, that they don't accept that we exist as human beings. What is existing are the traditional leaders in our society. What is existing are the transnational corporations. I'm saying that it's because of when they discovered the titanium in our land, the first thing what they've done, they did consult us, which is the bottom-up approach. But when we say no, that is where they just change the tune and they speak to the traditional leaders. And, and I'm happy that Babu Puzakemese is here with us. Sometimes in our communities, it's very difficult to send a message to our government because our government is deaf. It's really difficult. But there is a way of sending a message. We use the music. We're forced to sing because there is no ear for them to listen for us to talk. We use the music in order to make them to listen. Otherwise, without singing, you'll never get an opportunity to send the message to them. And sometimes it's not only the music. We use even our food, our sweet potatoes, our madulis, our mealies, our guavas, whatever that is surrounded us, just to throw to them that we need to be listened. We have a government that hates their own people, which is very painful, what our ancestors, they fought for. Our chief, as I said, that the music, we have a music that, a song that it says that inkosi yethu yawulahla umhlaba ngokuthanda imbodlela. This song, because our traditional leaders, when these transnational corporations together with the government, they bought suits for them. When they come to us, they are carrying bottles of whiskey or brandy. Just to sell your own land, just a bottle of brandy. And once you get that bottle of brandy, completely silent. You'll never hear any message, anything coming from your chief. It's just completely silent. That is why we stand up and we fight. And we said that the land, it belongs to the people. The land is not belongs to the chief. Chiefs are our own servant. They are looking the land for us, not anybody else. And we educate our government on that. And when we won the Baleni judgment, that the people of Kolobeni must give a full, free, prior, informed consent, our government stand up. They said, no, we're going to appeal this judgment. It's too chaotic. That means South Africa, there will be no development anymore because the judgment, it says that we must give a consent because they are not believing on us. That the only person must give a consent is a chief because the chief was already signed a go-ahead to the project. It doesn't matter, we say no. And we said to our government, as communities, we have a right to choose and we have a right to say no. To do so, you are challenging a war within your own government because they are no longer defending the South African citizens. They are defending the private sector. That's what our government is doing right now. And that is why we're part of this campaign against the Bantustan laws, because we're saying that we cannot afford to have a government, a democratic government, that is one step ahead and is 100,000 steps backwards. We cannot go back. This Bantustan laws that is being introduced right now, and as I said, there's many cases. The Shell case where they discovered oil and gas in our ocean as well. They said we consulted people. Guess who has been consulted? Monarchies. Now monarchies are the people. That is why this Bantustan law is already existing. That is why they go to push and fight in court against their own people. Because the Bantustan laws, it makes their pocket fat. What I'm going to say today about this court that we are going to attend tomorrow, let's not give it up. No matter what the judgment says, when the judgment is going to hand it down, but let's keep fighting on the ground until they hear us. Let's not be demoralized by the court judgment, because it can be going the other way around. Let's make sure that no matter what the judgment says, but we say no to Bantustan laws in our societies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sis Nontle. You took my next question that I wanted to ask from my mouth. So I will ask it more directly to perhaps yourself, Sis Connie. Njengobesho Sis Nontle ukuthi whatever the outcome of the challenge to the Concord is, the community must not lose hope. Our constitutional democracy is structured in a way that allows public participation, but within the confines of the rule of law. Now, going tomorrow to the Concord is going to the highest court in the land. What happens if the Concord comes back and says, you are wrong, this law must prevail in this land? Where must communities go and what must be done?
Thank you very much for that question. So, I think going to court is one strategy, but not all of the strategies. We have seen that we've won so many court victories. There is Maledu judgment, there is Lamosa judgment, there is Baleni judgment, there's Kala judgment, there's many other judgments that happened. Judgments are not going to give us land back. It is up to us, the people. And when we say the people, guys, you must know that even the president is the people, even Namakos is the people. We must clarify who are we talking about when we say the people. We must be very clear around our definitions of terms and be very clear around the terminologies we use, because it can be easily lost and it can also be easily appropriated. You know, they say, we consulted the people. Because, I mean, yes, they consulted the monarchs. They are the people. They consulted the traditional leaders or councillors and theirs. They are also the people. So we need to be very clear when we say the people or we say communities. Who are we talking about? And I think the Interim Protection of Land Rights Act is clear around definitions of who to consult, why these guys, who's mostly affected, who stand to lose, and we must be very clear. So for me, whether we lose tomorrow or we get a victory, we don't stop and say we got a victory and start talking like academics, like, hey, Maledu judgment. We have seen what is happening at Bakhatla. They've won cases, the CPAs, of the CPAs versus traditional leaders. They've won cases around land rights by Maledu judgment. But go to Bakhatla, you will see poverty. People have not derived benefits. Because as people, we want to give up our agency to the legal world and to the pandas. And you know, sometimes I point a finger at people not doing what they are supposed to do, but the other finger is pointing right at you as an individual. What is your role in making sure that we popularize these judgments, but we also popularize and movement building? It doesn't matter whether that movement will be called Bantu Stand or La Mosa. We should leave out this banner flying strategy and make sure that people who are doing work in support or contributing to our struggle, we build a movement beyond our banners. You understand? So I think whether tomorrow it's a loss or good, it's for me, a win is today. The fact that we are debating about this is a win. And I think all of us who are here must go back and reach the same number, and then the same number, so that people must have their own agency to defend. I mean, they can rebel. They can have a defiance campaign and say, okay, if the Constitutional Court says this law is right, we will defy. If government thinks traditional leaders has to take decisions about our land, there comes the national elections, or the local elections. We tell them we're not voting. Go and tell traditional leaders to vote, because TKLA says they can take decisions on our behalf. So if they take decisions on our behalf, why do we have to vote? Go to Nyalala to vote for you guys. We don't. So we should take the agency and build the movement. Also, we need to be clear about what we want. What do we want land for? You understand? We must use the land. If we are going to take land and put a lot of our people in the poverty squatter camp, is it what we are fighting for? So I think we need to continue these discussions beyond court cases. Lawyers can do their parts. Researchers are doing their parts, but the most work is with us as activists, social movements. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Auskhona, for that. Bantu bakithi niyayizwela-ke konke kusezandleni zethu. All of us have a responsibility and an obligation to ask ourselves where I am coming from. I go to church every Sunday. Ngiyasukuma ngifakazi. Do I ever take that opportunity to talk about these pieces of legislation that I am now conscientized about? Ey'koleni bengabe ngiya kuma-meeting abazali, ey'nkundleni zemidlalo, ama-opportunity namathuba wonke lawo ukuthi sisebenzisane nomphakathi ekutheni yize izinkantolo zingathi senifike kwangqi, amandla omphakathi obumbene maphezulu kakhulu kunamandla ephepha kakhulu. Enye into eshiwo Auskhona ukuthi lo mhlaba lo esithi ngowethu siwenzani? Siphila emhlabeni nasey'nkathini ze-food insecurity, ukudla kukho. Kodwa iningi lethu lunomhlaba lana nje ongatshala khona ispinashi notamatisi, kodwa siyahamba se-Spa, siyahamba se-Checkers. Noma ngabe umhlaba wakho mncane kangakanani, kunezinto esikwaziyo ukuthi siyitshale. Yini siyakwenza yini lokho? Uma singakwenzi yindaba singakwenzi. Umbuzo-ke loyo ongeke uphendulwe ukhoni noma usisiNonhle noma ubaba uMnyando. Umuntu sezoyiphendulela yena ngaphakathi. Sesiyobona thina ngoba sesitshelwa ukuthi esontweni ngesonto ngibatshelile ngalomthetho. Baba uMnyando ngibuyele kuwena.
Yebo Nkosazana.
Ukhulumile usisiNonhle ngokubaluleka komculo emzabalazweni.
Yes.
Kulomkhakha-ke wamaskandi. Ikakhulukazi sibona abantu abangobaba behamba phambili. Yize babe khona abawomama njengengane zoma osisi noma omama obuthi imhlongo. Kodwa iningi elihamba phambili inini obaba bethu obhodloza inini enihamba phambili. Ey'nsukwini zamanje uma siqanda imessage othumelayo ihlukile kunakudala, lo moya we-activism ngathi usushabalele kancane, kodwa siyabona kungathi akhona besifazane abasha abakhulayo. Khona nje omunye engizwe ngaye bathi uhlalепhi Ngozi noma Ngwazi Ngwazi
ulikodwa mina
khona futhi nechwane lakho uNtando undodakazi wakho ekubonakalayo ukuthi akhona amachwane akhuliswayo esifazane ayebambile nomculo. Umbuzo wami ke kuwena baba ukuthi senze njani ukuthi kulomzabalazo womculo sipromote abantu besifazane kungabi nje abantu abawobaba abahamba phambili.
Nkosazana engakusho kumaciko nama-artist ngingathi ufuna mawucula ungabe igwalo ukuthi hey mangicula kanje bazothi ngoba inkinga iseyikhulwini mawuyishaya ingoma uyibhekise eyikhulwini isheshizwele.
Yes.
Ngoba manje mawuzocula ukuthi sithandwa sami agijima entabeni ngoba abantu banethandwa zabo. Kufuneka ingoma incinze njengoba nabo nje abantu stand bakungahlala kulawo ma-compose lawo baqhubeke nawo ukuthi naku sibuyele emuva sithi sesikhululekile kungamnandi naloko. Maningi amalokhu khona omunye umfana wetholele ebhaka lapha ngangithathela amantombazana acula isiXhosa ngoba umculo wethu noma ufana kodwa sigqi asifani, bayaxenza ngala kuyagidwa ngala. Ngiyafuna ukuthi ngihlale ngihamba nje ngiloko ngithi nje ngoba mina angihambe ngenza ama-competition ngishaya imoto ngiye lapho lethiwa khona leyo artist ngifike ngiyilalele nje kuba ngathi bengidlula nje kanti ngizothatha ikhono layo bese ngiyothatha izosala ibonela
Ndiphilile, I'm healed. Ndiphakamela ukuthi ndiyafuna lo mculo wakho uye kwi-communities zethu because i-communities zethu abantu bakuthi kwi-community zethu sonzakele psychologically. So ebethethile apha uMiss Ntuli or Comrade Ntuli nge-psychopathology yabantu abamnyama. Na ubuthethe ngoba umuzi wakho watshiswa ngabantu ozama ubakhulula psychologically.
Yes.
So siyenza njani uba siyabahilisha abantu in our respective communities ngalo mculo and abantwana bethu babantu abamnyama sibafundisa nini or njani ngabo babazazi baziqhenye ukuba ngabo ukuba ngama-Afrika because ngoku into esiyiqaphelayo siyokutshisela umuzi kodwa uzama ukukhulula thina. So siyitshintsha njani lo mindset kubantu bakuthi Nkosi?
Siyazibongela bhuti, uzobamba babomnyandu umbuzo ngibathathe nje bebonke bese ke siyaphendula. Unumber 2 lapha emumva.
Sanibonani, nomonde waNkosi iphuma eMpumalanga. Sisikhoni nawe sithi namhlanje ngicela ukuthi singakhulumi ngani because sihlale si-engage nje. Ngithanda uku-acknowledge wena baba uthi uma ungena la sadibana eminyango ngathi kuwe baba, today we are here to celebrate you. So ngithanda ukusho futhi baba ukuthi umculo wakho uthi ngiyabuza nduna. I-question ebalulekile leyo. That's why uma ngiyi-check-a lento ukuthi i-career yakho ayizange ibe popular after lezi ngoma lezi eziqonda ngqo zibuza umbuzo ngqo because bobuza umbuzo obalulekile. Ngiphinde ngibuye lana futhi ngithi yazi some of us la sibhadala bo-DSTV
abantwana bethu if ungababuza today ukuthi ubani obaphuza ekhemist abamazi because izinto esizibukela kuma TV zero. If abantwana bethu bangazi ukuthi kunobaphuza ekhemist afike nje ambuze ukuthi mama boyokwenzana emeetingini hayi bese kulwa ngebantu nge-stop bantu bills. Okay, fine, but nangu umuntu odala wacala ukustop. They must know history. So ngithanda ukusupport ubhuti la ukuthi how do we make sure ukuthi thina as activists we continue popularizing your music ukuthi ngoba labantu obabuzayo mawushaya umsila phansi wenduna le shayeka nalo phezulu owenza lo mthetho ukuthi thina siqhubeka kanjani ukuthi umqulo wakho uqhubeke uwenze even nangale bill le ungawenza. Ngiyabonga.
Siyazibongela sisi unumber 3.
Ngiyabonga kokuqala ngiyabonga bosesi bethu nabomake bethu labendele lokuhlangana kwethu ukuthi kube impumelelo sisikhoni nema colleagues lamanye uARD lamusa Legal Resource Center bonke labalabendele umsebenzi ukuthi ube impumelelo. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Angithi ke babe Mnyandu angigcwalise ukubonga kakhulu babe ngibuye eMpumalanga igama lami ngiSolomon Sibongo kwamabuzo ngibuya le bobagitsetsakeni ibuye Nthuku siyawulalela umculo wakho unemlayeto noma unemessage bengathi ke babe Mnyandu kulokusebenza lokukhulu kangaka namuhla ke angisho ukuthi kumemeta kwakho lapha embhobheni uvakale le nale kufana nebhodla kwengwenyama. Ingwenyama mayibhodla mayilayiduzane ngeke uyive iyovuka ngilabakhashana. So ke uyiqale kanzeni indzaba yokucinzeteleka kwabantu uyikhuluma ngathi uyadlala ngoba kube kujayiva kanti bokukhuluma liqiniso uyikhulume kanzeni iyovakala lethi njengembhodlo wengwenyama. Bengingasho ke ekugcineni babe Mnyandu ukuthi umsebenzi lomuhle kangaka lowendile nekuphumela ebaleni ube nesibizo ukukhuluma uconze ukuthi ngisho kuwe ukuthi namhla awusendi kahle kubaholi bethu ayikho inhlamba awuthukanga umuntu lapho. So kwangathi bangakuvisisa ngetindlebe letimbili hayi ukuthi uyabayewula cha uyabaconzisa. Ekugcineni babe laba labancane mabakompoza ingoma tabo bengingacela babe ukuthi njengebantu leni basitako nalabalandzela nine abende lokhu endani nine njengoba niqala ekuqala le ndlela nibabuyise ndzawonye bahlabele tingoma letine meaning isho ukuthini le ngoma ngoba letivamile namhla tingoma uyufise nekuvala tindlebe usungayiva ngoba hey le uyadibuta ukuthi ngigcokile angikagcoki ati sifaki esimeni sekuba abantu nekuletha sithundi sebantu kodwa lele ntihlabele ekuqala tiyasiletha sithundi sethu tinwele loluse babe Mnyandu niqhubeke kahle kube kuhle nibasite laba labancane. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga kakhulu. Owesine.
Thank you. Afternoon, everyone. My name is Sherami Sherinda. When you said Esine, I didn't understand this number 4 or 5. I'm speaking Xitsonga, but I will speak English here. So about music, I won't say much. I'm also playing guitar in Xitsonga. I'm a musician also myself. So I like the way you're playing. If we were staying together, maybe I was going to background with bass guitar. My question is not much a question, but it looks like a question. Since Connie, you talk about the Alliance for Rural Democracy. So this name is okay. It's talking about rural democracy, where we are like struggling about land. So for me, land is not only stopping in getting land or accessing land. Is there any chance, Ms. Konu, that we can expand this struggle to food security, where we can have alliance of food producers? Because our people are getting land. I'm working with lots of CPA communities who got land and the land is not used. And the government now is saying, no, they want to to take this land from the people because they are not using. Because these people, I think the reason they are not using it is because it's long we have lost the land. And people don't have the culture of tilling the land. How can we continue this struggle, getting people to really till the land and we make our own food? Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Number 5, you know, the interesting thing about love and language is that even if you don't hear the language, you can feel it. So even though I say always seen, you stand up, but you don't know what it means. That's the power of love and language. Mark, number 5.
Hey, ngizokhuluma isiZulu sesipedi.
Khuluma konke ma, khuluma konke.
Ngesikithi ngabe ngithi tamakhoshi. I am healed. It's a healing. Next time we have a gathering. Baba, Nyani, what gives you a tick? Umhlanga lo. Mhlambe usinike nathi. Usihlephune. Ngijabulile. Mbone abomama. You are empowering abomama. Wabamatlafatsa kasepedi. Kukhona abobaba abanye esigodini sakini. Bayayijabulela lento lokuyenzayo. Ukuthuthukisa abomama and young women. Uzomphendula. Sis Nonhle. I'm still coming to you. Even though there are difficulties, you keep on going. Give us that strategy. Oscon. Expansion. Can you please expand? And give us just a little bit so that when I talk to the younger generation passing the baton, I have popular education to be able to deliver to our younger generation. Can you just expand a little how we can do it so that our younger generation also are in the right track? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the question. So that's the first round. We'll take another round. For now, Baba ngicela ungivumele ukuthi ngiqale ngemibuzo. Auskhoni, you have some questions. Sis Nonhle, you have some questions. And then ubaba uphuze khemisi naye unemibuzo ekumele ayiphendule. Asiqale ngawe sis.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Ntuli. And thank you very much for the questions that are coming from my mentors, my predecessors, my professors. Who knows, who should be sharing with all of you, supporting me about the vision of the Alliance. So probably I'm being tested here because I take it from them. So the Alliance for Rural Democracy, even though the word democracy is debated and we could debate it until dawn comes, we didn't say it's an alliance for land access or an alliance for governance or for mining. We just put it broader, alliance for rural democracy. And then we should debate all those terminologies. So what do we mean by rural democracy? And one of it is this land access. It is about use, land use. It is also about inheritance. All right? So no one is saying use. Because of it, your point is that we didn't lose only land or surface land. We also lost skills. We also lost livelihoods and the way to make our lives, to provide for our everyday lives. So we need to start educating bits by bits. Commissioner talked about small gardens, but we don't want to do small gardens and stop there. We have to graduate and make sure that we use the land. I come from Khoi-San. I always tell them, guys, we need to get livestock farmers, even if there's no enough livestock farmers in the village. Let's hire them into livestock farmers, because if we were to argue our rights around Ipil, then we will have to prove that we are being dispossessed of our user rights. And if we are dispossessed of our user rights, but people can dig mines 5 kilometers away and we are not aware, a researcher from Cape Town or a lawyer comes and makes us aware for the first time, how do we claim user rights then? We will lose this land if we are not using it. And when we are saying using it, we don't mean residential only. We mean using the land in its totality. Whether it's women cutting the grass, making brooms, our famous logo, or it's hunters, we need to know who's hunting in our land. And you know, we can't access game parks for free. We have to pay entrance fee. Yet our land is open access. People come and hunt and take and sell the wildlife there. How do we make sure that we hunt, we plow, we graze the land, so that we can prove the lost rights? We can prove that, yes, we're debating around ownership and what kind of ownership, but access is also ownership, according to Ipiola. So ownership is not only a piece of paper of a person who's in London, but has access, privatized rights, and doesn't even absentee landlord. When we talk about absentee landlord, we're also talking about us. We're not talking about white farmers only. So what Advocate Shewam is challenging us is, how do we make sure that we also grow a movement of people who are using the land? And that is what the vision we should share. And I totally agree with you. We used to debate about this with Bomam Sizan, and we used to say, let's bite what we can chew. But if it is a movement, it cannot be controlled by few decision makers who call themselves the board or the trustee. It should be led by you, the people. And then if there is a movement, I know Advocate Shewam is a farmer now. So if you have similar people that you think are doing the same, and they need to cross-pollinate, and they need to be part of the alliance, you are welcome. So that is it. I said, Ma'am, this question, I don't think.
Popular education for the young ones.
So popular education for the young ones. You know, the young ones, they love music. They love this thing they call socials, where they are gathering like this, and then there's an artist. We should do it by all means. We shouldn't just go into boardrooms and then there is an expert or a so-called expert telling us what to do. We should do it in all ways, and we should look at what resonates with the young people. And that is why when Tiani brought an idea, it's Tiani's idea, it's a young one as well, to say, hey, let's get a music chemist. And even in the land conference, we wanted to invite him, but time was tight, and because it was hybrid as well, it was a little problematic, but it was an idea that let's get the artists, both old and young, who are bringing the message across. I was doing a research at the Bapo, and I met young people who are doing social enterprises around sound, around communication, and I was saying, wow, remember the way I've been trying to penetrate the community around the public protector's report. Because I was doing it the old traditional way of getting people in the hall, feeding them food and giving them traveling fares. It's not working, guys. Let's stop that. Let's use young people to go and attract other young people. So the way they advertise the socials, when they go for the June 16 and the Heritage Day, they take cooler bags, wear all white. They go, who's funding them to go there? Nobody. But they get there and they have their funds, they are using on. So how do we make sure that we tap into those strategies to popularize the message? Because our young people, they go into these universities. These universities, it is an apartheid style of education, which are, the graduates are job seekers, and they don't see the value of having a land. If you are having a land, you are a job creator, because you can do so many enterprises in the land and create jobs. So I've got 3 kids who are graduated. They don't, Mama, where? So it is so painful that 70% of our young people in South Africa are not employed. And yet those people, the 70%, probably 60% of that 70 comes from the bank states, where land is lying fallow, and now mining companies are coming to say, we will provide jobs. Yeah. How do we demystify that thing? You understand? That we are not waiting for any messiah to come and create jobs for us. We can feed ourselves. Let's stop going to conferences and then doing slogans that are not, translating into action. So that is my answer to you, Usebeni. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aus Constance. Sister.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Yeah, the question is too big, but I will try to cut it short. The struggle for the land, you sacrifice everything in order to defend yourself, defend your land. And the reason I'm saying so, mostly women are on the forefront of defending the land. And the reason why is because we're defending food. That's what it meant, what is land for us. It's food and shelter. Now, that is our main priority, because we want our kids to have shelter. We want to make sure that the kids also have food. The other stuff can come later, but if we have those 2 things, the life is enough. And the strategy, as you're asking, how did we do it? First thing is to believe in yourself. Trust yourself. There's quite a lot of things that they are saying in order to change your mind and undermine yourself, that you are poor. That's what they are saying when they come to our communities, that we are here to bring development because your community is poor. If you don't believe in yourself, you'll see yourself as poor, without noticing that you are not poor because you have land, you have shelter, you have water, you have nature around you. You are not poor if you like that. But this word that they use to you in order to undermine yourself, that yes, I'm poor, now let me take the mining, for example. And without noticing that this so-called development is here to make you poor. That's the first thing, believe in yourself. What you have is very important, because these so-called, that they said people here are not working. Also, that is the other way that they are saying to our communities, that everybody here is not working. But without even noticing that all of you in your community, you are working. There's a difference between work and job. Yeah. There is nobody in the community is not working. But we always been fooled by the words that they are here to create some work for us. And the other thing is to believe in your people. When you are united in your community, nothing can defeat you. The strategy is to inform your community, to conscientize your community 24/7. There's no time for break. When the transnational corporations, they are coming to your community, and you will be targeted because you are informing, because the enemy hates the informed communities. They love the uninformed, because this is where they push their own agenda. That's the strategy that we are using. And we pay, as Ubabu Puzakemesi says, to end up leaving our household, because they target you with anything to make sure that you are troublesome. Especially if you're a woman, you know, they call you names in order to feel yourself inferior, that you are mistress. Mistress is something that is not important, as you are an animal. But the only strategy, just keep going. Don't lose focus. Don't respond. Otherwise, you lose the focus. That's how the strategy that I'm using at the moment to make sure that I'm not going to respond all the other things that you're saying. And I can make an example, sorry, Mr. The history, your history, because also the education has been captured, it's been controlled. We need to teach our own kids our own history, because most of the history is not documented. If you know your history, it helps you to strategize and think. For example, our history, we learn from our grandparents that why there was a Pondo revolt, why the British colony was coming in Africa, especially in South Africa, to try to colonize South Africa. The issue was the land, nothing else. And that history, it did help us, where our own ancestors, our own grandfathers, they were being taken to Pretoria and given two things, the land or the soil and money to choose. But they choose sand over money. You know, the former Prime Minister of Transkei, K.D. Matanzima, says that the minds of Amampondo are small like my wife when she's sleeping. Because how come when there's money here and then you choose land? Just soil is nothing than money. And our people, they said that we cannot choose money because the money will take it and it will finish, but our next children, they will not going to benefit. But the soil will be inheritance and the next generation will benefit. That history, it just motivates us. Today, we are using the same land that our forefathers, they were being killed, murdered in Pretoria, and we're still feeding our own children as well. And we want to make sure that also our children, they're going to do the same, because this kind of education must not end only for us, and let's keep educate also our small children in order to make sure that they're going to take a decision that is not going to affect the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Baba Khemisi isingawe yangazi noma uzoyikhumbula yini imibuzo abakubuze yona, kodwa uzozama nje ngamandla akho onke, sisazolanda futhi enye round akunankinga uma kukhona ukushiya.
Okay, ukhona mfowethu lapha noyilasta oke wathi sizofaka kanjani abantu abasha okuya kula music lesiwenzayo nokukhuluma bangesabi ngicatha usho njalo. Mina ngiyihambela ke kakhulu kwenkosazana indawo eziningi, baningi engibalikothayo ngizwe labafowethu abanye abaqama woPhumalanga lapha koNyamazana komhlushwa, ngilikhotha abantu kuzo zonke lezo ndawo. Mina nje ngumuntu wabantu, angiyena umZulu, ngumuntu. Angiyena nje umZulu, ngumuntu kwabanye abantu. Engingakusho nje ngathi mfowethu, umuntu wena ukuyimisela into uma uyithanda ufune ube serious wena. Kungabe mina ngikulandela ngemuva ukuthi enzani. Angifike sekukhona okwenzile. Ngicathi nje ngifuna ukuniphendula kanye kuhle ngingadli isikhathi sabaphathi bami. Nonke niphendule kamnandi bawuthiwa baseMpumalanga ngibezwile bakhuluma ngeMpumalanga. eMpumalanga nje kunomabuza lapho nama-truck for sure niyamazi. Lapha kaMhlushwa uyafika emzini wami eThekwini, nami ngiyafika lapha kaMhlushwa. Engingakusho nje ngathi umXhosa, umNdebele, umSwati, isiSuthu angisazi kahle, nesishangane siyangidida. Kodwa la ama-language lawo esinguni hayi noma ungakhuluma nje ngicabanga ukuthi konje umbona umbila anginayo inkinga uma ngihamba nomuntu ngeke ulipompo ngisuhamba nomuntu okhuluma isishangana njengoba bakhona oPheni ngale bakhona oNotho Mashawuka abantu engiphila nabo la engikhothena abantu besimame ngeke ngabayeka ngoba mina ngancela kumama umama wena wangikholisa umama wathi mehambe emhlabeni ngagula inyanga yonke kungadleki ngisho ukudla nginonkosikazi wami sina 35 years sashada angaze ngimbeke isandla angaze ngithi incele yakhe ngiyabonga kakhulu akakulibazise emthini ngoba sibaningi ngiyabonga
wena umphathi wethu kahle kahle
mina ngiphethe
omkhulu kakhulu kunathi sonke siyabonga
ngibonga kakhulu
Okay. Mine is not a question, it's just a very quick comment. I am just standing here because I am so moved, and often we do not thank people when they are with us. I miss Umam Sizan in these kinds of gatherings. And I want to thank activists who post-1994 still see themselves having to be on the other side of the barricades opposite government. Ukhoni grew up as a young activist in the struggle. She is still that activist today. When Unontle was talking just now and said, for this struggle, we have to put everything on the line and sacrifice, I wanted to cry because the fact that we are saying this today, when our government at least was ordained in 1994 to try and address this thing, is an indictment on the government. It's an indictment on the kind of society that we have. I want to thank so many people who are here simply for continuing, despite being ignored, despite your comrades being killed. I am very aware of the sacrifices that we make in your communities. And I want to take this opportunity of Solomon and say we do not take it for granted. Because actually you are not fighting for your communities only. You're fighting for all of us. I am deeply grateful and indebted. Unontle is sitting there right now. There's a bounty on her head. There's a bounty. High officers of government and ANC were in a meeting. Were basically, for all intents and purposes, a call for her and her comrades to be killed was issued in the presence of the Minister of Finance of this country, in the presence of the Minister of whatever Fikre Mbaluda is, and in the presence of the Premier of the Eastern Cape. Right now, as we speak, about more than 30 activists of Bashar Basem Jondolo have been killed since 2013. So I want to say that these struggles are not yours alone, and I am very, very grateful. I am hoping that down the line we can talk about a campaign, that actually talks to South Africans in general and say, who are the people in this country right now, in this moment, who are fighting and who are standing between us and total annihilation in this country? Because we talk about only and Boni and all these people, but we need to talk about the young people especially today. Umam Emeli has been doing this thing, I don't know, for more than 50 years and she's still here. Siabu. Babu's a chemist. So I was very worried. I have never been a fan of a male musician, so I don't know how to fangirl a male musician. So I want you to know very clearly, upfront, I know you're married, and I'm happy and in a solid relationship with your wife. But I was so nervous because your music means a lot to me. I grew up at a time when we put everything on the line, from music to poetry against apartheid. And I'm grateful that you are continuing with your colleagues, who were here. And I'm really, really grateful. Not that you need to tell us. You need to tell us what you need from us. And we need to make sure that we make it. But the first thing that we have to do is to make the plots known. So that when something happens, we don't always say we didn't know. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing from the sacrifices of activists are recognized. Thank you so much, Mboniso, for highlighting that very important point. Asilandele kwena Mama Ulina. Ngiyabonga mfowethu. Angisabile ngabe ngisukumanga ngisukunyiswa yinto lenhlizweni yami. Angisiyekele umuntu lo othanda noma okwenzani kodwa mangizwa kufila la. Ngisukunyiswa nje ukuthi anginambuzo sizwa komnyana. Nganginga sengize nganga lokho ngangizwa. Futhi ngisukunyiswa ngokubonga amantombazane. Sisikhona sizane cishe uyazi kwami nawe sefuna la wazi wami manje. Le mina ngisuke ejozini ngokusuka sasuka lelo ngoje sehla sayuhlala sicoshwa ngabantu abamhlophe ngisho ukuthi amabhuku. Sicoshwa ngabantu abamhlophe. Uma wenze nje angasi sikhona ngenza kanjani. Ngenize nje fikele ngakithi ngoba kithi ngiyabona ukuthi zikhona ingane ezenza ingoma kodwa hayi kanje. Uzabantu babuyele emasikweni. Ngoba sisikhona yabona ukuthi uma ugqoka ngathi usisikhona uzobhili. Ukube bungitshela ulovula ubuzobona lesi. Ubuzobona sisikhona. Into yesitwa. Ngoba mina cha ngiyavunula sisikhona idwa ngazo zo7. Zenkonzo. Ubuzobona nje sisikhona ukuthi njalo uma sengivunulile. Ngibonge nami untombazane yami. Uphilile sisikhona wazi icekeni kwami ngakabe sisoke isidudla. Yazi ngicela ukusho ukuthi umqondo uvulekile ngoba ungathi uma usuka emaplazini umqondo lokuthi engcini. Ungayazi indlela yaphambili. Sisunonhle ngicubiswa inhliziyo ebuhlungu njengomama. Uthe usisi lapho wawuvika ibhangi namanje asiyivikeli makhosikazi. Nayibona ingane zethu ukuthi iphumile esipoliweni. Ithi ithi ingane mawukhuluma umsizwa womnyandu mina akuzokuthi bakomnyandu usizwa womnyandu. Ngomuzo wakhe ngokaba kwakho. Ithi ingane sithi masiyibuyise utshwaleni. Siyibuyise uba ngamapha. Zithi kwakwisikhathi selezo. Ngeke sasiphathe isikhwame edrobheni sesikholi usiphathe nje ukhululeke. Ngoba laba bantu banento ngomfilapho amavili. Ngibonga kakhulu okwezwena amantombazane ami la. Ngisho inhliziyo yami bamnandi kube uyokuye ngapha ngakithi. Ke ningenzele nje khulubeke bezobona ukuthi le ndlela engihamba ihle kanjani. Ngoba khona abantu abangakazi ukuthi lokho esikwenzayo bakumavuso bengushiye emuva. Coordinator wethu. Ngoba kumnandi ukuthi ngikhumbula ilanga babethi ngelilanga sesikhoni ukube abantu bayazi kahle omavuso nodlamini. Khona ingoma ababethi babeyobukela bethathe kancane. Bethi icala lenduna liyothethwa ngibani. Bethi alikathethwa. Kodwa hleze ekhothe. Lindi induna. Sekuyisikhathi ke samacala enduna la. Ngoba nazo idlala ngathi. Ngokuba yikho imali ngabo umthetho usekhona. Bagijima imali phambili abantu basebekhonza imali bakhohlwa ukuthi izwe labo ufuna umhlaba wabo bawufukamele. Ngoba inkinga isemhlabeni umhlaba ngowethu. Abantu ngeke bekwazi ukuba nomhlaba. Inkosi ngani ngabantu. Nenduna ikhozwa ngabantu ukuze kuthiwe induna. Ngakho umhlaba amakhosikazi asiwuthatheni ubuye ngakithi sisebenze noma zikhona kodwa nathi asisebenze
Ngibonga kakhulu sisikole ngathi uNkulunkulu enganibeka ngaleza ngiphuze ikhemesi qhubeke ngane yami uNkulunkulu akubeke. Amen.
Siyabonga kakhulu Mama Nkosi. Mfundisi.
Sorry.
Mfundisi.
Amanda.
Awethu ngani?
Ngibonga kakhulu ithuba kakhosela. Ngiqale nje nami ngokubingelele izikhulu zethu esiphambili. Okanondela siyabonga. Siyabonga. Siyabonga kakhulu. Mina ke ngiyawuthanda umculo wakho. Ngathi usulela thina nje. Ungathi ukhuluma lokho esikukhulumayo. Ushumayela lokho esikushumayelayo. Ngithanda ke nenhlonipho yakho. Mina ke ngikwazi esontweni lethu ngeke ngikutshele ukuthi lipi. Awukaze uyiphakamise nangelilodwa yilana. Bengibona ungakhombisi ukuthi umuntu odumile. Ngibona ngaleso sikhathi usaphatheke kabi kusahambe umfowenu ukhethayo. Kodwa ngiyabona ukuthi ubaba oyithobile. Nakho ke ngikuthandayo kakhulu. Ukuthi lokho okukhulumayo kungathi uyilunga lethu thina kwa-ARD. Lokho okukhulumayo kwathina sikhuluma ngalokho okukhulumayo. Lokho okukhulumayo nsuku zonke lokho okukhulunywa yithi. Ngithanda isibindi ke owayenaso kulo hulumeni wethu. Ngaqala ukungena emzabalazweni ngaboshwa ngo-88 kodwa ngaxola ngoba ngangiboshwa amabhomu. Uma sekuyilaba sebesishaya nsuku zonke yilapho nami ngithiwa khona ngibonga isibindi sokuthi uqhubeke ukhulume kulaba. Mina ke ngiyazazi zonke ingoma zakho ngiyayilandela kodwa eyabanzima kakhulu uPremier wethu la kwaZulu Natal le yayikhuluma ngamakhansela. uPremier wethu sasimthanda naye efundile kodwa akayithandanga yilapho kwaqala khona ukushintsha isimo. Siyabonga lokhu vele lapho kwaZulu Natal uyashiswa uyabulawa yinto esibhekana nayo nsuku zonke. Siyabonga mntakamnyandu uyakhombisa ukuthi uzalwa khona ebukhosini abakwamnyandu onongalaza kanondela induna enkulu ngesikhathi senkosi udingana nenkosi umbali kwakunongalaza kanondela iqhawe. Siyabonga ukuthi uqhubeke lapho baba uqhubeke nje uphile sengathi lo mculo ungadlulela abantu abasha. Kodwa ngiyathanda ukubonga kakhulu sisikole ngibonga kakhulu bonke abantu nje esesinesikhathi nabo kade ngikhuluma uProfessor noMorris Ogasa ibona abantu mina ngithi emzabalazweni ushuthi ngiyahlala. Kodwa ngathi mase ngibona imfundiso kuyizona ezikhuluma lento zicacisa ukuthi akushithi kanti senze into okuyiyona yona. Yibona abantu abasibuyisela emqini ngaleso sikhathi ngoba kwakunzima thina sasiyithatha njengey'nhlanga futhi kwakuthiwa abantu abangafundile. Sisikole ngikhumbula impela njengoba esho umama uProfessor lapho ekhuluma ngomama Sizana. Lokhu enaba nesibindi nasibumba kanje. Akukho lapho singanqozanga khona kodwa asilalelwa kuyo yonke leyo mnyaka. Sinqonqoza senjalo. Ngakho ke ngiyajabula kakhulu ngisukumiswa nje ukujabula kodwa ngikhuthazwa kakhulu babomnyana inkosi ngisengikhuluma kanje. Sisinohle. Uyabona lokhu kuthiwa isibhamu impilo yethu leyo. Ingabethusi. Njengoba kade ikhuluma udadewethu ikhuluma abahlali basemjondolo thina sisebenze ngasikhathi baqala ukubulawa ngo-2009 kwakuyithi abeluleki babo. Yithi futhi esancoma ukuthi begadwe ngeyibhalo. Kwakuyini nomfundisi yithi esabhala incwadi sobabili. Ngaleso obawusibona bengafuni nabo ngoba nami ngifuna ugadwe. Bayazi ngike ningithathe niyongicashisa. Nguvuzwa besibhamu kodwa ngibuye nginehlule uyazi sisidilile. Nawe sekwala ngithi angishukani nabantu okungona bangibulala. Ngoba abantu bazophela ngakho sisinona uhamba ngendlela okuyiyona yona silwela umhlaba. Umhlaba wethu umhlaba uyafelwa. Abantu bakubona kanjani ukuthi awusiyelwa ngakubo bakubona ngokungafani nenhlabathi ya umuntu uyinhlabathi yangakubo. Uma engayilweli inhlabathi yangakubo lo muntu akasiyele umuntu awukho umsebenzi wakhe ukufela umhlaba. Uma umfundisi usufile umfundisi ethi uthulu wethulile usubenza usiko uma ecaphula umhlaba usuke echaza ukuthi isidumbu sakho sathatha umhlabathini sesibuyela khona. ngakho umhlaba kufuneka siwulwele siwufe yilokho ngisho ngiyanikhuthaza ama-comrade baba igama lakho bakwetha lona bakwempathi usibo kwakhe namhlanje ufakazela ukuba uyakuzibo kwakho ukhuluma lokho kusho uphathini.
Siyabonga please. Ngimeqile usisi angixolise sisi wami angicela ukubuyela kuwena. Okay. Mina ngokabusile wabakhanyile. Ngihlala lapha eNorthwest Marikana to be precise. Umculo indabuko yethu ukusuka dala nakudala. Abantu abadala bethu bebelwa i-apartheid bebengenakho okunye bebelwa ngakho, but in their voices nezandla zabo. Ngikhumbula usisi Nonhle whenever wakhuluma ngeMadiba crisis ngeke ngahlangana naye ngo-2017 and ikhona ingoma ebebeyicula bathi wegwede emantathu ufuna ukwenzani sithi umhlaba thina. That's how I always remember them. Kungizwisa ubuhlungu because nge-apartheid era bekukhona isitha ebesisikhomba sithi nasi isitha siyeza sizohlasela, but kule nsuku zamanje isitha sihlala naso endlini futhi sifana nawe futhi awusazi noma sesifike sizohlasela or sifike kahle. Yingakho ngithi kumaqabane lana abangomama singabantu abangomama senzwe ngendlela e-unique ngoba sinothando futhi masesithe hayi sithi hayi. Yingakho le Stop the Bantu Stand mengibona isipiyelelwa abomama ngisho ukuthi obaba bekho kodwa bangibona omama ngijabule ngithi ngiyazi ukuthi omama bayabekezela kodwa kufika isikhathi labathi asisabekezeli khona bebethe hayi bathe hayi. So ingathi umaqabana ngomama osisikhoni osisinoke le struggle into engiyithanda kakhulu niyazi ukuthi akusongeseli isethu sonke and i-struggle niyasi-owner. When you are called you are there. Anisho ukuthi hayi ndizodelegate ngoba kunabantu abanama-delegates and ugovernment wethu ulala esiphethe izandla because wona lamakhosi athi uwanika amalungelo agcotshwa nguye futhi ugovernment nguye owabekayo athi upremier uzobeka inkosi ethandwa nguye azi ukuthi izofavor yena. So badlale njengabantu ama-Khoi-San yebo barecogniziwe kuhle but babasebenzisile ukuthi baphushe into ebenefita bona engabenefithi umphakathi. Angazi ngoba nabo bawumphakathi basuka emiphakathini angazi ukuthi bacabanga ukuthi kuyoze kube nini. Ngiyabonga.
Ukuqala mandiqale ngilibale sibale encinci apha ngosingena kuvulwa le wireless ingxolayo kudlala ingoma zomzabalazo. Uthi umanona eli lizwi ndizalithetha nayo uyalithetha uthi xa lezi ngoma zazinyusa into ngomqolo sibe ngesibindi. Namhlanje siyazonyanya thina abangazivanga emva kwenkululeko. Kubuhlungu kutsho kodwa ndiyafuna ukuthi tholele duna hleze mhlawumbi uyinyusile lo moya waphuma ngendlebe wavela xa usinika ingoma ezilolu hlobo. Ndisitsho ndinovuyo kodwa ndinombuzo. Ngaphambili umuntu ebesengozini ethengiswa ngababezimpimpi ebehlala engcitheka le nto niyithethayo kufuna udutyulwa kodwa elona nto ibikunzakalisa ukuzibhaqa into yoba ngenxa yale nkolo unayo kulo lilizwe ulahlwe ngabahoyi. Andithethi mna ndithetha ngaphakathi esifemelini zenu. ulahlwe ngabakufitshane nawe. As activists, baninzi abantu abaye bathi asinoze siphinde sivale nonontle. Asinoze siphinde sivale nephuzu khemisi. Zaninzi izinto ezinehlelayo zisenziwa ngabantu abafitshane bethetha ngayo. Niyibeke ndawoni le nto kumzabalazo. Nikhuthaza ngayo abantu abalapha. Into yoba xa uthe wazikezela uyucatshulelwa ungafunwa ngabakufutshane kuwe. Nina kwezi activists lapha niyibeka ndawoni. Nithi masithathe ndawoni. Ithetha ukuthini? Ufunda ntoni kuyo? Okokugqibela bethunana masithi untshu kubantu abaye baququzelela lo mcimbi. What a choice. Ngomso ndinethemba intoba negwala ebelingenayo intshuntshe yokudikisela andithi zinilo bese siyalini igwala ebelingenayo intshuntshe yokulwa ezingoma bezithethwa apha zifana ngomso ziyakuvusa uhambe intloko ijoke phezulu khona ukuze kubona bawulile phakathi.
Sabonga baba unumber 6 uzolandelwa unumber 7 ozoba wokugcina.
Enkosi. Ngutebo olothethayo. Ngujona, uJoke Nkomo. Ndingomnye wabo bantwana kuthiwa zii-born frees. Andiyazi nale nto ka-born free uba yintoni. Ndazalwa ngo-94. Ndahamba ndayofunda umculo eyunivesithi. Sifundiswa ngabantu abaneziduko zamajamani asengabayaziyo. Umculo lo kwakusithiwa asingomculo awuna-theory. Awuna-theory. Kodwa ndikhuliswe lela mpondokazi besithi nxa ndingena endlini uzawusishiya isilungu sakho pha emnyango. Ungena kwakho apha uyawuyenza le yenziwa uthethe le thethwayo. Andiyazi i-apartheid kodwa ndiyazi izivubeko zayo. Ndiva ebalini ndibona nemisebenzi yayo inhlalo. Emveni kokuba ndifunde imusic umakhulu wami ebedlala imusic ye-local musicians ndafunda njalo ke. Ndahamba ndayoba ngumfundisi kwi-denomination ye-Methodist. Nalapho xa ndifikayo kwakho into ecacayo uba man isidima somuntu omnyama sidlakadlaka.
Yes.
Sidlakadlaka nje sidlakazwa ngabanye abantu abamnyama. Kwacaca uba uBiko wayithetha le nto. Qaphelani. Isidima sethu mnye nje umuntu onosibuyisa umuntu omnyama. Akekho omnye. Uthola isidima esiwileyo phansi ayonto ilula. Ayonto ilula. Ndibulela kakhulu ndithe enkosi kuwo wonke umuntu ozileyo apha. Umsebenzi mninji gqithi. Umsebenzi mninji gqithi. Sizama ukwokha nokulungisa ubuntu bethu. Enkosi kuwe tata. Enkosi, enkosi, enkosi. Umculo wakho nezinto sizifundayo zizinto esingazange sazifundisa kwindawo kuthiwa kuyafundwa kuzo. Nakuni bomama, qhubekani ninyamezele. Kuwo wonke umuntu ohleli into ebuhlungu kakhulu kuyo yonke lento kuba ndiyasithetha ewe isiXhosa kuba umakhulu wam wandifundisa zona, kodwa into ebuhlungu andisazi nosibala. Nokusibhala ngoba ndafundiswa isiNgesi neAfrikaans nesiJamani. Ke ngoku elam lithi xa sifulathela le ndawo masihambe sisazi okokuba umsebenzi uqala ekhaya. Uqala ekhaya, uqala entlalweni, nakwabo bathi basezinkonzweni qhubekani ninyameze. Enkosi.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
Kuhle ukuba lapha nawe tata. Siyabulela sithe sawukhwaza ikhwelo uvele. Sikhwaza ikhwelo sisabela ukhwelo lakho owawulihlabe ngaphezu kweminyaka enga-30 edlulileyo, more than 30 years ago. Kuhle ukuba sihlale ngolu hlobo. And ke futhi le nto yokuba umzabalazo nengoma nabantu abaculayo basebenzisane yinto ibikade ikhona le xesha bekusilwa nge-apartheid. Andiyazi uba siyilahlephi. Ngoko ke kuhle ke ngokuba siphinde sihlangane kwakhona, siphinde sibuyelane kwakhona, i-artist nomzabalazo. Ndicela uSisinontle besike sancokola lapha evelini. Khona into engicela uyivelisele abantu oye wayithethe nje ndayithanda malunga nokuba i-artist ngoku kwenzeka ntoni kuni xa kuzurhulumente ne-artist.
Siyabonga Thiyane. Ekuqaleni ngiqale ngosisikhoni. Ngicela ukuqala ngawe Sisinontle, ngibuyele kuwena Sisikhoni bese sivala ngawe isikhulu sethu.
Let me take the last question. As I was speaking about the artists that are very important to our struggle, the artists, they used to go to our communities without any payment because they are part of the struggle. Artists, especially the musicians, they are the activists. But after 1994, we just experienced something that is so unusual because our government have money. They pay the artists to come when the government coming to our communities. And when they come to our communities, they have been told what they must sing. That's how they manipulate our artists, our musicians. And I was telling Otiane that in Pondoland, where the guy, he was new from Muscat, and we were just only having the CDs. He never performed in our community. He was new. But the first day when he put his foot in our community, he was being advised by the government, and he was being told that he must sing a song that what is happening to us is not started from us. It's something that is common. And it was, how it was so painful to us. And everybody was having his CD, just put in the fire. You see how the music is being crushed. Because that musician today, in his birthplace, he's not been recognized. If Babu Pu's a chemist, you are not being recognized in your own birthplace, where are you going to be recognized? Because that's the most important, and government is using our artists to be looked so bad. And this is the thing that also we need to educate our artists to not be taken advantage by our own state and the private companies. Because private companies are giving our state money in order to pay our artists to come and perform. But it kills the message. It kills their activism. That is the thing that I was sharing with Utiane, that most especially the Maskanda music, because their message is very straightforward. It's very clear. But when they send the wrong message, they kill the music completely. To go to the question of, as an activist, how did we deal with the families? Again, it's a quite challenging. We have our families, Judas, where the enemy start at your own home to find amongst your family who can we use against you. We have a lot of work as activists to strengthen and to educate our own families. But we can do a lot of education, but a human being is a human being. If somebody decided to sell you, your own sister, your own brother is going to sell you. But as an activist, what the oath that we take in order to protect ourselves, we don't even trust our own families. Because don't think that you'll be killed, somebody come from outside. Within your own same mother. And I used to say that the betrayal is not started now. It was started during Jesus Christ's time. The brothers will betray each other. It continues. If you can look, there's a documentary called Showbreak. You can see on that documentary who's fighting against who. The two cousins. The other cousin is on the side of the transnational corporation. The other cousin is on the side of the community. That is why I said it's quite difficult. But the only thing that it protects us as activists is just only trust yourself. End of story. Thank you.
It is so difficult to speak after Sis Nonhle because it's like she was copycatting my brain. But I just want to say, I think enough has been said for the day, but I want to quote something that Sis Nombo Sonobode said earlier today. She said, we won the Kala Reserve in 2012. Huh? Only now in 2021, we were able to introduce the leader, Ingogeli, of our choice. So I think that was a powerful message for me because people lose. We go to court and then people sit. And also they ridicule our strategy to say you go to court, then what? So for me, that message was a message of hope to you, Mema Maledu, and the Bakata Baliseting, to you, Sis Nonhle, and the Baleni, the Amatiba Crisis Committee. Our visitor here, Babu Puz Kemisi, has been singing this song for more than 30 years back, but only now. So people, we all listen, but the way, how do we absorb and translate the message? And we're not as fast, or we're not the same. So for me, I'm just saying, we should not give up after court, because usually most of our communities, when they call us, I want a lawyer to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then after the lawyer has done the part, what do we do after that? Let's contribute those peace things that we do. Let's not lose hope. So for me, the message of Sis Nomboso was the post is very important. The fruits of all those court victories that we had might not be realized today, tomorrow, because we are fighting a big fight of changing the mindsets of our people who were colonized, who were made to belittle themselves and their own things, who were taught that a black is cursed. That's why in funerals we have to wear black, and in weddings we have to wear white. So we were colonized, and then it will take time for us to, educate people. So sometimes even these people who are project driven will say, yeah, within 3 years, what have you achieved? I would have achieved awareness. How will you see it? I will see so many people talking. People can come to meetings and talk. As to what they do is different. You understand? So for me, I'm saying, let's not lose hope. We're going to court tomorrow, but it might not be the last thing that we do, because there's colonial land tenure bill discussed tomorrow by government. There's also traditional courts bill coming. The people are taking our land because they thought the land was arid, and they removed us to the dry arid land. But now they've realized that the very arid land is mineral wealth, wealthy, and now they want to take us out from that land. And whether you speak with 3-4 women at the funeral peeling vegetables, or you speak with 6-7 people that you are harvesting with, let's spread the message and make sure that the struggle goes on. The baton is not lost. We are taking it from 100 years back, and then we are fortunate to be here in this room, at this courtroom tomorrow. But how do we transfer that to the future generation to come? Thank you very much.
Siyabonga awusikhoni ushilo Bob Marley wathi emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No one but ourselves can set us free. Abanguthi yona lento eshoyo awusikhoni ukuthi kuthina sisonke baba uphuze ekhemisi.
Mina ngabonga kakhulu nje ukuhlangana kwenu. Ngibona ngathi kukhona okukhulu kuzoba khona. Sibonga kakhulu le into eniyenzile inhle kakhulu. Siyacabanga ukuthi nama-university azosebenza izinto abazoyithanda laba abathanda ukufunda music emanyuvesi. Kodwa uMaskandi awufundelwe enyuvesi. Lapha eThusi lapha eDurban University kade nguthisha wakhona umusic, ngokuba busy-ke ngashiya abanye abafowethu abasebenza khona, ngokuthi othisha bakhona abakwazi ukusebenza into zikaMaskandi. Kodwa kuzogcina kwenzekile lokho, ngoba uMaskandi ngibona ngathi uya phambili ngoba nasefotele Aris ngisebenzisana nabo kakhulu. Ngiyabonga.
Bantu bakithi sesiyayivala inkonzo. Ngicelileke ukuthi uNolundi asondele asivalele inkonzo ngaphambi kokuthi uNolundi aqhamuke. Ngicela nje eyokuqala ilena yama-artist nemali. Uma ufaka amafutha emanzini akulungi lutho. Kanjalo ke uma ufaka imali ku-creation ayikho into elungayo. Sibe nenkinga ye-capitalism ethena yonke into ayidayiswe. Ngisho nomthandazo uyadayiswa. Umthandazo ne-art izinto eziwu-2 ezingahlukile lezo. Umdali owadala lelizwe nomhlaba nabantu abaphila kubona i-artist. Ayikho into engasidala sisonke sibe bahle ngokuhlukana bethu sonke kanje ingathi leyo nto i-artist. Kodwa uma kwakufike umoya ozothi kumdali ngicela bakho abanye bawu-10 ngizokunika u-10,000 wawuzombona umuntu eseshintsha isakhiwo sakhe. Ngobani sekunemali phakathi. Imali iyona abaziyo bathi uthando lwemali impande yokubi. Umhlaba wethu nje silana siulwela. Inkinga enkulu isono sothando lwemali. Olwenza ukuthi ubhuti nobhuti babulalane, usisi nosisi babulalane ngenxa yemali. Uthiyane Duda uyena ophuphe lo mcimbi. Into le engayibekanga ekubalekile ukuthi siyazi. Bakuphuze ekhemisi. Lo bhuti lo usodlulile unyaka ethi ngiyafisa ukuthi simbize ubabuphuze ekhemisi. Ekuthandazela ungamazi ngoba azi ukubaleka kokuba khona kwakho la. Lo bhuti uyi-artist, umakhi. Usebenza yini beadwork ngesintu? Ubuhlalu, ngiyabonga mfundisi. Ubuhlalu bakhe mayebenza uqale azwe wena umoya wakho ukuthi uthini, bese cela kumdali nabakini ukuthi bambonise ukuthi ubuhlalu ekumele akwakhele bona bunjani. I-artistry leyo. Umuntu o-approacha njalo i-artistry angeke azathenge uhulumeni ukuthi adayise abantu bakubo.
Yes.
Kukuthina ke mphakathi ukuthi sazi singavumeli ukuthi ama-artist athengwe uhulumeni ngokuthi singabasupport. Ngoba the more sisupporta abantu abajaha imali awukwazi ukwakha uma uswakhela imali. Uma ungakalakhi iculo uqale uyibuza ukuthi ngifuna lidume, awungeke usakha, usulahlekile. So ilapho into yokuqala esiyithathayo. Eyesibili ukufundisana nokubaluleka kwe-responsibility yokuthi sifundisane siwumphakathi. Uma ngikhomba uhulumeni ngesandla esisodwa, ezintathu bhuti untathu u3. Lo bhuti othekisile akasazi. My brother, ntathu is 3. When I point you with one finger, the 3 point towards me. So when I say to the government, you've deprived me of my rights, the other 3 is saying, so what are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Education, consciousness, mental emancipation, courage and fearlessness. Kunabantu abacabanga ukuthi courage is the absence of fear. Kumele ngingathuki ukuze ngenze. Kunabanye abathi fear is a friend who's often misunderstood. Lokho kuqonda ukuthi with your fear act. Ungalindi ukuthi uye ukusaba before uact. Ngoba fear will never leave you. Especially if you are acting against superpowers who have the ability to kill you and to kill your family. Act nevertheless. 3. Ubhuti wami uyibekile lapha. Intergenerational trauma ne-affect kuthina. Siphila empilweni noma ezikhathini zalento abayibiza nge-mental health. Sonke si-affected. And ngeke ungabe affected engqondweni nasemphefumulweni uma uphila emhlabeni o-psychopathic. Angeke. It shows that you are living within a sick society. But the question is, how do we take care of ourselves? Masithandane, masihloniphane, masingasabi, masifundisane. Number 3 loyo. Number 4, uthi makube nenjabulo emhlabeni. Ngiyabonga abantu bakithi ngesikhathi senu nisilalele namhlanje. Ngizobiza ke uSisinolundi ukuthi asivalele inkonzo bese ubaba uphuze khemisi asivalele ngomculo. Nolundi. Yes, please.
Benalo wami umsebenzi njengoba kuchiwe kubulela andizoba mdeke ngoba niyanibona nani badibishana. I just wanted to give a word of thanks for an event like this. A lot needs to happen, a lot needs to come together. And so okokuqala umbulelo wami to all of you who came. Ndiyabulela kuni maqabane. Nithi xa sinibiza nifike, xa sinicela nithi ewe. Anidinwa lixesha lenu, abanye benu lisuka kude kakhulu. Nihamba ampolo imini yonke ukuze nizofika apha. Kodwa niyaziduba nize nizofika apha. Siyabulela, siyanibona. Leyo into niyenzayo asiyithathi kancinci. Enkosi kakhulu kuni nonke ngexesha lenu lokuba nibe lapha namhlanje. Ndingaziqhobela izandla. Ndibulele ke kuba uphuzi chemist. Siyabulela kakhulu tata. Njengoba bese kuchiwo, I think umculo wakho ululutho ukuthi kakhulu. Ubalekile kumsebenzi wethu. Thank you so much for ixesha lakho. Thank you for joining us namhlanje. Siyabulela kakhulu. Amazwi ndiyashoda ngamazwi kodwa ndizothi nje inkosi kakhulu. I thank as well our panelists, uSisikhoni, uSisinonhle. Inkosi kakhulu kuno nobabini. It's been a very fruitful conversation. Ndize kumphathi wohlelo udadethu uphilile Manduli. Sisithi kuwe Nkosi. Nangona uyi-Human Rights Commission osilahlanga. Kuyacaca ba usenathi kumzabalazo. Siyabulela kakhulu ba i-commission iyakhulula ba uze namhlanje. Nawe wathi sokucela wathi ewe khanguthandabuze. Leyo into siyabulela kakhulu. Enkosi sisi. Ndibulele ke kwiqela lase-ARD, Sisikhoni, Tshepo, Vincent and Bon, there you are. To the coordinators, Ndatela Mohanwe, Ubabu Mfundisi, Utabisa, Ubabu Solomon, Nibaninji, abanye ndizobashiya nonke. Thank you. Ngaphandle kwenu, ngaphandle kwento basisebenzisane, yonke lento yenzeke namhlanje ingasoze bekhona. Siyabulela kakhulu ngenhliziyo yethu yonke. Inkosi kakhulu. Dize kuyiqela laselak ogxabam. To my colleagues, to the team, thank you all. I told them they had to get on a plane and come to Joburg and nobody said no. In particular, I'd like to thank the governance team. To Monica, who is also Deputy Director of LARC and who heads the governance team. Umsebenzi wakhe nina anizowazi anizobona. Kodwa mkhulu kakhulu. Uye ubekhokhela iqela lethu. To Aisha, to Tiane, Naguni, a big thank you for the time that you put in, for everything that you did to make today possible, for your visioning, for your planning, but also for your work on the case. An absolutely immense thank you. To the rest of the LARC team, much love. Thank you guys. Thanks for being here. And then ndifuna nje uthatha umzuzu wobulela kokugqibela, ndifuna nje ubulela uTiane ezimele yedwa ke. Ngoba njengoba etshilo uphilile yonke lento ize ngaye. Nguye umuntu owathi I think ampolo unyaka sokugqitha unyaka ngo last year ne. Wathi ngebandi nomnqweno ndinombono kunganjani ukuba singathi. Dathi kuye Khoi sizobona. Wenza nyani. So ndiyaqonda uba ndifuna simqhobele izandla singamjikile. kakhulu bahlali. Njengoba ndisitsho andizoba mde sendiyigqibile ke yam indima ndizothetha indawo. Ndinikeze ubaba uPhuzi Khemesi asivalele ngengoma. Masisigqibe apha kukhona ukutya isidlo sangokuhlwa. Ndiyaqonda noba sikulanda besitye kuyo isidlo sasemini. So abantu bangagoduki khona into etyiwayo. Kodwa ke ndinikeza kuwo